You're watching ICENET, independently covering New York Islanders hockey past and present, bringing you the tradition and nostalgia you know and love with a modern feel. This is where Islanders tradition and pride are always our number one. Built by passion for the orange and blue. Isles coverage. Taking a step into the future by reaching into the past. ICENET. Dynasties live here.
Regular season games and a 2.91 goals against average during the regular season. Here you saw his lifetime playoff record, and Billy Smith at the other end, 6-3, 2.51. He can equal Ken Dryden's lifetime playoff record tonight with a victory, giving it 80, 79 and 27, lifetime 2.69 with 5 shutouts. Gary Fraser ready to drop the puck. Christian on the draw for the Caps. Trottier for the Islanders. Bossy moved up, cleared it to the Washington line, and Bloomquist missed Stevens. He's checked immediately. Bossy in to knock the puck away from Bloomquist. The Caps will come out hitting, I would think. Christian around the boards. Trottier steals the puck. Ryan Trottier into the corner. Keller unable to pick it up, and it's brought out on right wing by Christian. Christian to the right wing. Gartner had it knocked away by Janssen. Keller with it now. He's over center ice across the Washington line. Made the play to the right wing for Bossy. Nice Bossy's pass. Went behind a couple of Capitals. It was picked up by Gartner. Gartner comes in on right wing, trying to cut around Janssen. Centered, Smith cleared to the side. Gustafson out in front of Bossy. Went down to block that shot. Trottier trying to work out on the left wing. Boyd takes a hard hit from Gartner. The puck cleared in front. Christian couldn't get a stick on it. Christian trying to set it up at the blue line. Stevens with a blast that went wide of the net. The puck comes around to the left side, picked up by Keller. Out of Morrow. Eddie Morrow carries it into the center ice zone. Shot it in wide of Val Jensen. It'll be picked up by Timo Bloomquist. Up the right wing, off the boards, out of the reach of Francis Getty. He was checked by Brent Sutter, and the puck went underneath to Shane and is smothered there for a face-off.
Dig the off-ice officials for tonight's game. We'll mention them after we look at the scratches. Darren Beach, of course, a left knee injury. Bobby Gould has a broken cheekbone. McKinnon, Heidi, Adams, Valentine, Edison, Mason, and McKeel, all just extra players. Dennis Potvin, of course, missing from the lineup on timely death of his father. The rest of the Islanders with shoulder injuries. Bob Bourne, John Tonelli, and Dave Langevin. The rest are just scratches because of the numbers.
The Islanders have cleared the puck from their own territory right to Jensen. Left it back to the net for Murphy. He and Langway together on defense. They start out with a pass to the left side. Haworth to Lachlan as he came across the line. Centered one. Murphy's backhander juggled and then grabbed and held by Bill Smith. There's a break in the action. The Islanders and the Capitals scoreless in the first period at the Nassau Coliseum. Play cleared into the center right zone following the draw. Trottier tapped it to the Washington line, and Langway just dumped it to center. Hanson waited, then shot it in. Gilbert, Brent Sutter, and Flatley out together, and there's a penalty coming against the Washington Capitals. The Islanders get the first power play opportunity of the game. Langway exchanging some words. Flatley in the middle of a heated conversation with Haworth.
Flatley Flatley heading for the penalty box.
Well, it's against Flatley. I thought Washington was in control of the puck when the whistle sounded.
They were, Jigs. Have to take, maybe we'll get another look at it. Flatley, a roughing penalty. He turned on Haworth to let go with a punch. Referee calling it a roughing penalty. Let's take a look at the play down. There's Haworth tying up Flatley. Watch the right hand. Bang, right off the chin. That draws the penalty. Gary Fraser, the referee, giving Flatley a roughing penalty. So the Washington Capitals, with a power play opportunity here early in the first period, played just under 2 minutes.
And that's Flatley's first penalty in the playoffs, including the Ranger series.
That's pretty unique, Jigs, when you think about how rough he plays along the boards in the corners in front of the net, and to have his first penalty now.
Morrow just broke up the Capitals' rush and has cleared the puck into center ice. Anderson on the right side gets over the line, dumped it around the board. Smith out of the net, backed it off the glass, and Goring has cleared it to center ice. It'll be picked up by Stevens. Gilbert and Goring with Johnson and Morrow out on the ice together. Lachlan working on the Washington power play was checked by Johnson, and Anderson works it across to Stevens. Scott Stevens managed to get it into the center ice zone. Haworth over the Islander line, trying to come through the defense. He's knocked off the puck, and Smith clears it to Johnson. Around to the left side, out of the reach of Anderson, and the Caps have to go back.
Washington having trouble gaining control of the puck in the Islanders' end of the ice. Good penalty killing by the Islanders.
Now they start out. Stevens' pass went off the skates of Caller. Well, they regroup in the center ice zone. Stevens to Murphy. Dumps it into the corner. Off the stick of Smith, picked up by Gartner. Mike Gartner to Christian. As Gustafson parked at the side of the net. He's actually behind the net. Gartner with the puck. Gustafson just stands there. Now Christian. Everybody else doing the work. Here's Stevens at the blue line. Gustafson comes out in front of the goal now and was chased aside by Johnson. Stevens at the blue line. In along the boards. Gartner can't make the play. Christian came over to help out. Haller cleared it. Gustafson back of the Islander goal, picks it up. Gartner parked in front. The puck comes back to Murphy. Murphy into Gustafson. He let it go. Back of the net. Morrow ties up Gartner. Christian picks up the loose puck. Dave Christian trying to make the play. Back of the net. It's Gartner. Gartner around to Gustafson, and he just cleared it out of the way of Murphy. And that will kill off the penalty against Flatley.
You had a feeling, Jags, that the Washington Capitals were a little too tentative on the power play. An opportunity, they blew again.
And the puck has been cleared over the boards at the penalty box. Caps can't do anything with the man advantage. There's a break in the action. The score, the Islanders nothing, the Capitals nothing.
No shots on net with the power play. You know, they're sacrificing a man standing off to the side of the net. He's no good there, Jigs. He's no help at all. You can't get the puck to him. Billy Smith, he's got good range with his stick. He'll deflect anything that would come close to Gustafson standing there. Not a good play at all. They've got to put the player in front of the net, create a little havoc. A little deflection.
That really surprised me. Gustafson being at the side or back of the net for the most of that power play. Eriksson with the puck for the Capitals. One away from a check at center ice, put it right on Boutilier's stick, and then he was checked and turned by Jarvis. Persson comes over center ice. Played it to the right wing and bounced off a skate, went to Bossy. That's through in front of the net. Helene in with him, and they couldn't get a shot away as Bossy was knocked down. Gauthier, Helene, and Bossy, the Islander forwards. The puck goes to Glenn Curry of the Capitals. Now to Shand. And over center ice into the Islanders zone on right wing. His pass blocked by Boutilier. Comes back to the right side. Duchesne fires it. It's grabbed by Smith, but he'll hold on to it.
An ineffective shot by Shand. Right up where Billy Smith loves to handle the puck. Duchesne led the play across the blue line. Dropped the puck, and here's the shot by Shand right into the midsection of Billy Smith. Not only was he not screened on the play, the puck was up high where he could handle it and hang on.
Both teams making some changes. Carpenter comes to center ice with Lachlan and Haworth for the Capitals. They'll have Stevens and Bloomquist on defense for the Islanders. Trottier has had to take this face-off. Brent Sutter is coming out as the other center iceman. And Greg Gilbert, Johnson, and Morrow on defense. They're to the left of Bill Smith for this draw. No score if you just joined us. We played a little less than 5 minutes of the opening period. Lachlan and Johnson went after the puck following the draw. Slide up in Johnson's skates, and there's no further play.
Islanders yet to have a shot. 5 minutes have now gone by in the first period. Washington with a power play. They had no shots on that. They've got 3 in total in the period.
Against the Islanders in this series, the Caps with 6 power play goals on 20 opportunities prior to tonight. There's Bloomquist with a shot. Smith the save, and rolls loose on the other side. Came right back to him, and he holds on. We've got a penalty call in effect as well. Referee Kerry Fraser calling Kenny Morrow for a penalty, so the Caps go back to the power play. There's a break in the action. The game scoreless. The Islanders and the Capitals in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup playoffs for the Patrick Division title.
Shot here. Shan lets this one go. He's got it down low as Gilbert goes out to block it. There's the shot. Look at how low it is. Billy Smith lost it. Look where the puck went. There's a good break for the Islanders as the puck squirted between his legs and rolled away from the net rather than roll in it.
So the Caps with their second power play now as Morrow is off for interference. Christian with it at the right point. Gave it to Langway. And to Jarvis. Gerson chased him to the boards. And Gartner works it back to Langway. Into the corner. Gustafson went for it. Picks it up back of the net to the blue line. Christian shot blocked in front. Recovered by Jarvis. Now back to the right point. This is Christian. Into Jarvis. Miss Gustafson with the pass. Gartner chases it to the opposite corner. Fed it to Langway. Now to Christian. Christian moves in, lets the shot go, and it was wide of the net. The rebound is cleared away from Gartner, and Trottier got it at the blue line and dumps it down the ice. His first effort was blocked, but he hung right with it, and the Caps start from deep in their own zone with 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in Morrow's penalty time.
Not a good sign for Washington, Jake, right here.
Not at all, as Kaller steals the puck and then got knocked off balance. We saw Jensen make the save, and here's Murphy back of the net. Mike Murphy making Larry Murphy, Jigs. All right, Gustafson at center ice. Got it wide to Smith off the board. Smith out of the net, cleared it away. Haworth back to the blue line. Held in with Stevens. A shot cleared in front by Kertson. Murphy's drive off Smith's catching glove. Way up in the air, drops in front of the net. Cleared to the corner, and Kertson goes after it. Lost it to Gustafson. Gustafson chased into the corner by Jansson's checking. Christian unable to get it to the blue line cleanly, and Murphy is checked. The upend scoring, and there'll be a penalty here against the Caps.
So many times we've seen it in this series where the Washington Capitals with a power play nullify it. This is either the 3rd or 4th time that they've lost the power play advantage. Watch Murphy. Goring steals the puck. Smart play by Goring. Larry Murphy pulls him down and gets a penalty with 24 seconds still remaining on Morrow's penalty. Murphy is now evened up the sides with a hooking penalty as he pulled down Butch Goring. Washington does not seem to want to pay the price, Jake. They don't have guys in front of the net staying in there, getting hammered away at. They stand off to the side. Not a good side. Billy Smith's just going to play catch with the point men.
Yeah, they're making it easy on him, all right. Deneen out on the right side of the Islander defense. He and Boudelier together. LaFontaine and Nystrom are the forwards, and here's Langway with the puck. Up the left side it goes. Into the center ice zone. Duchesne worked it to Jarvis. The shot handled routinely by Smith, and Deneen tries the left side. This is Paul Boudelier. The pass ahead to LaFontaine. Now to Nystrom. He works his way into the Washington zone, gave it back to LaFontaine. Not in front. Nystrom couldn't get a stick on it. Langway did a good job on checking LaFontaine, and the Caps have the puck. The Islanders, however, with the extra man as Gillies has come out along with Mike Bossy. Bloomquist carries it over the Islander blue line. Centered one in front. Comes to the left wing boards, picked up by Gillies. Art Gillies checked by Jarvis. The puck loose in center ice. Gillies recovers. Art Gillies to the Washington line. He, Trottier, they moved in offside, and play has been called.
Good second effort. The fans appreciate the hard work of Bart Gillies. Brian Trottier, a captain, appointed captain for tonight's game in the absence of Dennis Potvin. Take a look at the power play. The Islanders almost non-existent. 2 in 34 for a 5.9% efficiency. And the Washington Capitals, fine penalty killing, 85%. I think they finished the year with 86 point something.
86.7.
Best in the National Hockey League.
Yeah. In this series, the Islanders with 2 power play goals in 13 attempts. Johnson with the puck, sends Bossy over the line on left wing. Back to Janssen, he moved in. The check. Now Bossy trying to pry it off the board. In and out of the skates of Janssen, and it came to center ice for Trottier. Give it to Persson. Now to Trottier. Back to Persson. To Janssen. A little step from Persson. To Janssen. It went off his stick. Picked up by Trottier. 42 seconds left in the power play, and the Islanders having trouble getting into the Washington end of the ice. Now Janssen moves up to center ice. And to the right side to Persson. Persson across the Trottier, and it was blocked in front by Shan, and the Caps have cleared it down the board. And Persson will pick it up. Trottier, Bossy, and Gillies remain the forwards. Persson sends Bossy away on the right side. He's over the blue line. Bossy makes the play to Janssen, comes in a little deeper to Trottier, to Gillies, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Bossy works it back in the net. Trottier trying to center it in front. He gets tied up with Blomqvist. Stevens knocks it loose, and Gillies goes after it. Back to the left point for Janssen. Thomas Johnson gave it to Persson. Centers. Bossy has to take the turn. Aims at 6 aside. Bossy back to the blue line. It was broken up by Murphy. Bossy hooked it loose and gave it to Clark Gillies in front to Trottier. Off the heel of his stick and wide of the net. Doug Jarvis trying to clear it out. First effort hit Bossy, and now he dumps it down into the Islanders' zone. Icing has been waved off. Persson will pick it up. Ward Lang comes out on the Islander defense, joining Persson. Persson checked in his own end of the ice. Lane was there to help out, gave the puck to Helene. Got it in over the line. Stevens for the Caps to Carpenter. And back in a little deeper by Haworth, and now Blomqvist tries to come out on the right wing. The pass to Carpenter. Waited at center, and then shot it into the Islanders' zone. Haworth and Lachlan go into forecheck as Bordeaux cleared it to the line off the stick of Stevens. Stevens clears it right into the Islander players' bench, and there's no further play. 10 minutes, 23 seconds left in the opening period. There's no score between the Islanders and the Capitals.
Power play a moment ago. They had no shots also. Best chance right here. Clark Gillies. Had he been a right-hand shot, easily could have slid it into the net. Facing Brian Trottier. The puck coming to him and being a left-hand shot, very difficult.
Here's Gustafsson handling the puck as he got over the line. Murphy's shot knocked out of the air. And the rebound, Christian put it right on the target, but Smith was able to make the stop. Brent Sutter leads the Islanders in over the line. Gave it to Flatley. Flatley cruises in on left wing, then shot it high off the glass. It's picked up by Morrow. Kenny Morrow into the corner to Gilbert. Back to Morrow. Morrow trying to go behind the net. Got tied up on the play. Now digs the puck loose. Chases it to the corner. Morrow and Flatley on the boards. Flatley dragged down by Gartner. Morrow had been knocked down as well, and play is called as the puck has been frozen on the boards to the right of Al Jensen.
Diggs, I'd started to talk about the off-ice officials from the New York Rangers. Arthur Reichert, goal judge. Saul Maslow, a goal judge. Frank McGaffin, game timekeeper. Joe Schaefer, official scorer. And Joe Patrick is the penalty timekeeper. All from the New York. That's a long road trip.
And it seems fitting, too, that there be a Patrick in the group of off-ice officials from the Rangers.
Exactly.
Good group of gentlemen.
Joe Patrick. And they know their hockey.
Oh, they've been doing this job for years, haven't they? Doing it well. LaFontaine, Helene, Nystrom, Janssen, and Deneen out on the ice for the Islanders. Duchesne on the draw. That was won by LaFontaine, and Deneen has shot it around the boards. He got away from Jensen. Anderson tried to clear it to the corner. Nystrom working on Duchesne, and Helene picks up the puck. That's Helene checked in the corner. Gaetan Duchesne for the Caps out to Lou Francis Getty. It's across the Islander line. Deneen got a piece of him. Francis Getty goes in after the puck, put it out in front. On the backhand of Duchesne, and he had trouble handling it. Out of Francis Getty. Over comes Deneen to knock him down. LaFontaine plays it to right wing for Nystrom. Sidestep the check from Duchesne. And worked the puck into the center ice zone. Chasing it is Anderson. Peter Anderson across to Scott Stevens. Curry at the Washington line. Got it to center ice. Sampson moving up. Poked it in around Janssen and overcame Deneen for the Islanders. Deneen works it to right wing. Jarvis drops it back to Stevens. Scott Stevens can't get in around LaFontaine's check. LaFontaine unable to clear it out of there, and it was shot wide of Bill Smith. Comes off the boards at the point for Shan. David Shan to Francis Getty in front. Smith, it's knocked in behind him as Jarvis came in. Got a stick on the puck. Justin Smith went to make the save, and the Caps lead 1-0.
Big goal for the Washington Capitals. Doug Jarvis, a hard worker, gets not a lot of credit. Good at the face-offs. But he found himself loose at a puck just to the right of Billy Smith. Look at the nice passing of the Washington Capitals. Here's the shot. Look at the Islanders' cover, but it's tipped right here. In between the legs of Billy Smith, he got 3/4 of it. The other quarter of it got it just across the goal line. The Washington Capitals pressing. There's the play, tipped first. Billy Smith got to it. I don't know how he got to that one either. What timing, what balance by Billy Smith. He got to the puck, he got a chunk of it, but Doug Jarvis, his second goal of the playoffs, has opened the scoring. Washington 1, the Islanders nothing.
The goal comes at 11:21 of period number 1. That's Jarvis's first goal in this series. He had the other one against the Philadelphia Flyers, obviously. The Islanders down by a goal, forced back into their own zone, and Kaller has picked up the puck. Anders Kaller cuts to the right wing. Candidate, grabbed by Jensen. It'll be taken by Rod Langway. Around the boards, Boudelier sneaks in off the left point. Got away from the check center. It went off his stick. Ends up in the corner to the right of the net. The Caps get it to Lachlan. Carpenter put it right on Paul Boudelier's stick as he came back on defense. Boudelier to the Washington line. The pass off the right wing board. Bossy with a shot off the goal post. Carpenter is checked in. Kaller shot it wide of the net. And buzzing about that drive by Bossy. Trottier gives it to Persson. He shoots. That went wide. Big rebound in front is picked up by Carpenter. Carpenter leads the rush over center ice. 3-on-2. Carpenter cuts to the left. Lachlan went to the net. The puck was there and cleared by Smith. Picked up by Trottier. And Trottier down left wing. Posted in over the Washington line. They send Stevenson to pick it up. Now Stevens works it around the board. Persson takes a hit as he kicked the puck loose. But it's up to hit for Lachlan. Lachlan shooting it into the Islanders zone. Smith will cut it off for Boudelier. Paul Boudelier banks it off the glass out into center ice. Murphy is there. Murphy checked by Gilbert. Flatley moves in. Gilbert can't get the puck to him. Gilbert now dumps it into the corner. Christian back to Stevens. Up the left side, out of the reach of Gartner. A long shot. Morrow put it right on target, and Jensen made the save and held on. It's a break in the action. Still 7 minutes to play in the opening period. The Capitals are leading the Islanders 1-0.
Boudelier made a good pass. Here's Bossy in front of Howard. There's a shot right on the ice bank. Right off the center of the goal post and straight out behind the goaltender.
Red center up with Flatley and Gilbert for the Islanders, and the puck went loose back to the Washington net. Picked up by Stevens, ahead to Mike Gartner. Gartner to Christian as he came across the line. Goes to the backhand, and the shot is grabbed by Bill Smith. He'll hold on for a face-off. The Washington goal officially is Jarvis from Erickson and Shand at 11:21 of the first period.
SportsChannel would like to take a brief moment to apologize to Ranger fans on their unintended slight that may have occurred when an Islander-Washington matchup was promoted during last week's Islander-Ranger game. Well, so SportsChannel does apologize. A little premature to announce something like that, so in the goodness of manners, SportsChannel apologizes.
We did not know anything in advance. We did not see the script for the game.
When I read it, I think I'd prefaced it by saying the fact that if only if the Islanders were to win. But on the other hand, some of the fans who have loyalties felt a little slighted, rightfully so.
Both teams making some player changes as Al Arbor sends out Wayne Sutter along with Brian Trottier. Goring is coming out along with Boudelier and Persson. So it'll be Dwayne Sutter, Butch Goring. And once this face-off is made, and if the Islanders move into center ice, then in all likelihood Gillies would come out to replace Trottier.
Down on the farm, Jigs, the Indianapolis Checkers beat Colorado last night to defeat the Colorado Flames in semifinal series, 4-2. How about that? They're coming back.
Red Creighton and those Indianapolis Checkers, winners of the Jack Adams Trophy the last 2 years. Trottier with the puck back to the net to Persson. Now to Boudelier off his stick. It'll be picked up by Goring. Trottier unable to move it out. Carpenter centered it in front of the net. And a rip by Howard. What a save by Smith. The rebound bounces loose and into the far corner. Trottier between Sutter to Butch Goring. Goring comes over center ice, dumping the puck into the corner to the left of Jensen. Langway was there, cleared it, but not out. Gillies in after it, worked it around the boards. Langway steps in front of Dwayne Sutter and plays it to the right wing. And takes a hit from Goring as he moved it over the center ice stripe. And back is Boudelier. Less than 6 minutes remaining in the first period. Gillies into the Washington zone, gets checked. Langway plays it to center. Christian with a break, but he can't get the puck to Gartner, who was in full flight. Here's Morrow back to the Islanders. Ahead to Goring on right wing. Goring over the line, trying to cut in around Stevens. Centered. Jensen steers the puck to the corner. Now Stevens takes a hit from Wayne Sutter. Goring got a piece of it as well. Stevens is upended behind the play, and the puck moves into the Islanders zone offside. Wayne Sutter pulled the feet up from under Stevens, and that matchup continues.
Just to carry that one bit further, Jiggs, the fact that the Indianapolis Checkers defeated the Colorado Flames, the Checkers will now face the Oilers in the Central Hockey League Championship Series. And why we're mentioning it, it's the first time the Islanders' top farm team has met the Rangers' top farm team for a minor league title.
Isn't that something? The Oilers without a home. They're playing their games in Denver, I believe. Central Hockey League Championship. Morrow with the puck at center ice. Dumps it into the Washington zone. Nystrom races in after it. He and Anderson get there together. The Islanders are being called for having iced the puck. Nystrom felt he had touched it first, but the face-off will be brought all the way back into the Islander end of the ice.
Real tug of war here in the first period again. Most of these playoff games have started and finished the same way. Fine hockey, Bob Nystrom. Fifth on the Islanders' all-time playoff goal-scoring list with 37.
Eddie, I heard tonight about a couple who used to live on Long Island, moved to Cuttingsville, Vermont. You know where that is?
Cuttingsville, Vermont. No, I wish I did, but I don't.
It's about 300 miles away from the Nassau Coliseum, and they're back here to take in the game tonight. They don't get any television. They get one channel up there.
Plattsburgh, probably.
I don't know what it is, but it's very, very snowy, too, they tell me. Ruth and Connie Winkler drove all the way from Cuttingsville, Vermont. Their son, Brian, is one of the photographers and was able to buy a couple of tickets for them. Stevens with a shot off the stick of Bill Smith. Morrow with the puck. Down the boards to the left side. Trottier came over, couldn't get a stick on it. Shand will go back. Picks it up deep in the Washington zone. Trottier, Bossy, and Anders Kaller, the forwards for the Islanders. Duchesne has dumped the puck in wide of Bill Smith. Back comes Lane. Uses the boards to get it around to Kaller. Shand was right on top of him. Lane comes over. Took a hit from Francis Getty. Sticks go up. They start to push at one another. Puck has been frozen for a face-off. We'll see what else referee Kerry Fraser elects to add, if anything, as they tangle on the boards. It's a break in the action. The Capitals leading the Islanders 1-0.
First period, 4 minutes and 42 seconds remain. Washington Capitals on Doug Jarvis's second goal of the playoffs lead 1-0.
Christian takes the face-off. He has Gartner on the right wing, Gustafson on the left side. This line has been together consistently for the Caps through the playoffs. Bossy plays it rink wide to Kaller. In the center to Trottier. Comes over the line. Drop pass to Kaller is intercepted. Then Christian was checked. Kaller managed to get it again to Bossy, and it was knocked away from him. Bossy over to Persson. Got it in high. Murphy reached for it. Couldn't knock it down. We'll pick it up back of the net. Trottier right on top of him. Murphy out of the right side. It's turned around. Gives the puck to Langway. Ahead for Gustafson. Got it into the Islanders zone. Wide of Smith. Paul Boudelier will pick it up. Boudelier laid it off the stick. Gustafson moves in. Centers. Christian shoots. He scores. The Islanders guilty of giving it away in their own end of the ice, and they pay the price. Down 2-0.
Pressure by the Washington Capitals, and the Islanders, a forced error this time, caught the puck up, and it's in the net just that quickly. Christian took the pass, and it's in the net. Let's take a look at how the play developed. There's the Islanders' Paul Boudelier, who had a fine game in Game 4, trying to give it up the ice to Brian Trottier. Christian got his stick in front of it. Gardner 11 turns, but Gustafson passed the puck to Christian, and a fine backhand shot low and in the lower left-hand corner. Washington take a 2-0 lead on Christian's 5th goal of the playoffs. A happy Washington Capital bench, a happy team, as they lead 2-0 late in the first period.
Now LaFontaine is up with Helene and Nystrom for the Islanders. Johnson and Dineen on defense. Helene roughing it up with Chan on the left wing boards, and now they'll square off. The referee had called some original penalties. He's directing everybody else into the neutral area as we watch Aline and Shan. Aline has his hat leg grabbed by Shan and moves upended as a result.
One of the new tactics, I suppose. They're not really going to get any punches in, generally, because they're in such close quarters. Can't throw a punch unless you hit somebody in the back of the head. Shan grabbing a hold of Matt Celine's pants, pulling one leg off the ice, just enough to put him down.
Lean appears to have been cut. There's some blood on his jersey as he heads for the Islander dressing room. Shan is headed off in the opposite direction. Get some major penalties here with a little less than 4 minutes to play in the first period.
Relatively few fighting penalties in this series so far, Jiggs. With the intensity and the hard hitting, players have done well to keep their cool. Attention, Sports Channel membership card holders. Our next Sport Challenge question will be read after tonight's Islander game. If you think you know the sports, here's your chance to prove it and win great prizes too on Sport Challenge. You know all the answers, Jiggs. I bet they couldn't fool you. I bet you they don't fool you on this.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll bet they do.
Number 20, Matt Aline, 2 minutes high sticking.
Shan and Aline right here. Bang, bang. That's the intimidation. This time it breaks out. Shan and Matt Aline. 5 minutes each. A high sticking penalty to Shan. And 5 minutes for fighting. Each get, I guess, 2 minutes for high sticking and 5 minutes for fighting.
Coincidental major and minor penalties in any event. The teams remain at 6 aside, but the Caps are up 2-0 in this first period. Langway at the blue line held the puck in. His centering effort cut off and cleared by Denis to Janssen around to Clark Gillies and out of his reach. Ends up behind the Washington goal. Langway will get a stick on it. The Islanders have iced the puck. Jarvis scored from Eriksson and Shan at 11:21, and Christian from Gustafsson at 16:03. And it's 2-0 Washington.
One of the things that gets Washington into trouble, Rod Langway, he's guilty of it sometimes. There's his lifetime playoff stats, 37 games, 3 goals, 11 assists, and 2 Stanley Cups, both with the Montreal Canadiens. One of the things that Washington do regularly that get them into trouble is they blindly shoot the puck around the boards, sometimes not knowing who it's going to go to. And Islanders have been picking off that pass regularly. You remember Gardner did it when Brian Trottier scored after Paul Boutilier's shot, and then the night that Murphy did it, and that was the end of the hockey game.
Tonight, the Islanders have not been in the Washington end of the ice very much. Only 2 shots on goal through this first period. There's Boutilier with 1. That makes it 3. Fans reacting as the Islanders trail 2-0. Have not been taking the play to the Caps. And the other way around tonight, and Murphy leads them over the Islander line. Centered one in front of a shot high and wide by Howard. Laughlin held it in at the blue line. His backhander got away from Boutilier. He'll pick it up in the left wing corner. Ahead to Gilbert. It was intercepted by Laughlin over to the left side, and Howard couldn't pick it up. Kenny Morrow tries the left wing. Gilbert's pass just out of the reach of Brent Sutter. The Capitals have it again. Carpenter shoots it in. Smith will leave it back to the net for Boutilier. All Boutilier cuts to the left side. Gave it to Gilbert and went off his stick. Picked up by Christian, who dumps it deeper into the Washington end. Anderson works it to the left wing to Gustafsson out into center ice, and it's intercepted by Brent Sutter. To Janssen. Christian into forecheck as Janssen cleared it outside the line. There's Mike Gartner with it. The Islanders appear to be a little rattled. Composure taken up on that goal by Christian. Johnson around to Morrow. Kenny Morrow out to center ice to Clark Gillies. Gillies into the Washington zone. Left the puck to Goring. Tries to get through the defensive drive. Jensen the save. The rebound. Goring goes after it. Gillies there as well. And the late penalty call in effect. Christian with the puck. Gillies gets a piece of him. Goring trying to clear it around the boards. And as play is called, referee Kerry Fraser with some more penalties, and Stevens is ready to go with Dwayne Sutter. Well, you heard Sutter on the pregame show talking about what they've had going in the way of a feud through this series. 1 minute and 25 seconds left in the period. Sutter goes over to the Washington bench, and Brian Murray, the coach, reached up to grab him. Was it the coach or the gentleman with the headset?
I think it was more words than anything, and threatening gestures. Both Murray and one of the assistants were down at that corner of the bench. Brent Sutter turned and went to the bench. Let's see if we can take a look at the replay. That'll tell us exactly what happened. As far as not so much we won't hear what was said, but we can see what was done. Look at the play by Goring. Good play by Gillies as he dropped the puck. Goring shot a little high. There's the loose puck as it rolled out. Goring, just as he went to shoot it into the open net. Look at the goaltender. He can't get back in. Jensen's down, can't get up as the Washington Capitals clear the puck. Brent Sutter, or I should say Dwayne Sutter, and Scott Stevens were jawing along the boards after the linesman very quickly doing a good job, got in front of him, broke up that particular fracas. Sutter ended up over by the Washington Capitals bench. And a quick move by one of the linesmen. I'm not sure whether it was Bonnie or Swede Knox, but one of them very quickly got to Sutter as he approached the Washington Capitals bench.
There have been some hand gestures going on between the penalty box and the Washington bench. You see the referee, Kerry Fraser, talking it over with the linesmen, Bonnie and Knox. Gillies there listening on behalf of the Islanders and Langway on behalf of the Caps. It's a charging penalty on Dwayne Sutter.
2 minutes for charging.
He charged into the goaltender.
35.
And now Brian Murray, I believe, is being warned. Kerry Fraser is over talking to him at the Washington bench.
Interesting that he'd be warning the coach, Jakes, because the coach can't get out onto the ice. Dwayne Sutter was down the boards, and he was a good 20 feet away when he turned and went to the he turned and went to the bench. If we could show that, maybe we have it, maybe we don't, but there's Brian Murray as he points. Some of the players giving a few words of advice to Dwayne Sutter. He talked about intimidation. He likes to talk all season long. He chitter-chatters throughout the hockey game, talking to the opposition, talking to his own players. It incenses some more than others.
I don't think we saw one of the moves that the coach made on our screen. I hope we didn't anyway. It was not meant for children. I'm surprised.
I didn't see anything, Diggs. I guess we didn't catch it.
Langway shoots the puck around the boards in the Islander zone. Cuts it off. Hit Christian. Christian and Johnson in a battle for it. It goes to Gustafson, to Murphy. From the right point, a shot on target. Smith the save, and Goring slaps it down the ice. It'll roll on target. Jensen lays it for Murphy.
Good work by Ken Morrow, Jakes, as he takes out Carpenter well to the side of the net, and Billy Smith had a perfect look at the puck all the way in.
Now Langway across to center ice for Carpenter. He's checked by Johnson, and the puck has been cleared. Gustafson takes a hit from Goring. The puck went back to Murphy. Langway. Rod Langway dumps it into the Islander zone. Gustafson goes in after it. Johnson right on his tail. Knocked Gustafson down. It's cleared around the boards by Carpenter to Murphy. Over to Langway. Moves in. That's the shot goes. Smith the save, and he holds on to it. They clog up the front of the net. There is no rebound, but Smith made a sparkling save off Langway's shot.
Watch Gardner in front of the net. There's the coverage of Ken Morrow. Here's the shot. Billy Smith, look at right off the end of the bid. He catches it right in front of Gardner. Smith puts his stick up to protect himself, then goes down to the ice. Langway roars back and lets fly. Look at the stretch of Billy Smith. Look at him come up with the puck. Hang on. Of course, he loses his balance. His feet are way wide to the net. His body's in front of it.
14 shots on goal in this period by the Capitals. The Islanders have had 5. Washington leads 2-0. They get the draw back to Stevens. His shot off Trottier. Shin guards, and it's loose in the Washington zone. And Trottier was wrestled to the ice by Stevens, and you hear the fans yelling and screaming. Carpenter fires a long shot. Smith leaves it for Pearson, and that'll do it for the opening period. Pearson just held on to the puck and lets time run out. The Capitals get a couple of goals. Now Dwayne Sutter coming out of the penalty box. Took a little spin over to the center ice area. Had some words at long range with the Washington coach. You see Brian Murray. Dwayne Sutter has really done a number on Mr. Murray's composure tonight. The end of one period. The scores: the Washington Capitals 2, the New York Islanders 0. We'll be back with a recap right after these messages. Charging penalty called at 18:35. And it now is expired as Langway covers up in his own end of the ice. Rod Langway up to Gartner into the Islander territory. Gartner trying to come in off left wing, gets turned, makes the play in front, it's tipped right on. Smith the save, and the puck ends up in the far corner for Gilbert. Greg Gilbert across to Thomas Johnson. Johnson fires it from outside the line. Jensen got the catching glove on it. Wayne Sutter and Langway got tied up at the side of the net. The puck comes up the left side. Gartner, Murphy, backhands it into the Islanders zone, wide of Bill Smith, and Persson will take over. Persson tries the right wing with a pass to Bossy, to Trottier. Trottier is over the line, being chased by Curry as he cuts in. One-handed it into the pads. He scored! It's across the goal line!
It's in the net, Jigs. What an effort by Brian Trottier. A mistake by Jensen. He must have relaxed Steve Trottier with the stick in one hand. Trottier shoveled it to the net, and it went between his feet. Let's take a look at Brian Trottier as he steams down. Curry in pursuit. Trottier starts in with the left shoulder low, leaning against him with one hand, showing his strength. Look at the shot on the net. It's trickled between the feet. Jensen's trying to kick it away. There's the puck. It's going. It's across the goal line, and it's into the net. Trottier, his 5th goal of the playoffs with a one-hand shot. Jensen moved at the wrong moment, and the puck trickled across the goal line.
The goal at the 118 mark. Now Keller dumps the puck into the Washington zone. It got away from Jensen, but is picked up by Bloomquist. Got it high in the air, cut off at center ice by Boudelier. Boudelier steps over the line. A long shot. Jensen steers that to the corner. It's picked up by Stevens. On Stevens. This is Duchesne with the pass on left wing. It goes wide of Bill Smith. Persson puts his stick on it. That's an icing call against Washington. They seem to be rattled a little bit here after that goal by Trottier.
It's how they recover from it now, Jake. That's important. The Islanders would love to move in for the kill and get another one. It's how the composure of the Washington Capitals is presented. Jarvis, of course, a veteran. He's going to be out there to take this important face-off in their own end of the ice. Washington have to get the puck, take it back down into the Islanders' end. Take some of the pressure off. A shaky by now. Al Jensen. I couldn't believe it when Trottier went. He dropped his shoulder. He's tremendously strong and moved Curry out of the way. And as he shoveled the puck with one hand, Jensen didn't seem to be set, didn't seem to be ready. And the puck went under the stick into his feet.
LaFontaine got it to Nystrom, to Boudelier, into Bob Nystrom. Centered one off the skate. Murphy moves it around to the left wing boards for the Caps. It's picked up by Sampson. Jarvis just out of his reach. Boudelier got checked at the line. Here's Jarvis moving in. Doug Jarvis with a shot that went wide. Out on the right wing boards and controlled by LaFontaine. He's at center ice. Across the blue line, LaFontaine to Gillies, cuts in front to Nystrom, and he was checked at the last second. Jarvis and Jensen got tangled up in the goal crease, and Jensen is getting up slowly. The Caps, in the meantime, are into the Islander end. This is Murphy with the puck. His pass deflected. Goes to Eriksson. Eriksson shot it around the boards. It comes out in front and cleared by Persson to Gillies. Dumps it down into the Washington zone. This will be an icing call against the Islanders, and Jensen looks woozy. He has a definite problem down in the Washington goal mouth. There's a break in the action. The Islanders trailing the Caps 2-1.
Al Jensen seems to be all right. Checked out by the trainer. Let's take a look. A moment ago, I thought the play was offside. I have it at the blue line right in front of us. Watch Pat LaFontaine. Watch up at the top of the circle. Clark Gillies. Woo, very close. He dragged his leg, his right leg, for a while, but I'd have been blowing the whistle. That's why I'm not a linesman, maybe, but LaFontaine, as he streamed through center ice, handling the puck. Clark Gillies left the big right leg laying back there. Maybe it was enough to satisfy the linesman.
Now Lane has played the puck into center to Trottier, to Brent Sutter, across the line, and shot just off the stick of Jensen. Trottier centers. Gilbert couldn't make it lie down, and out come the Caps as they move up 3-on-2. Howard gets over the blue line. Howard's backhander was wide on the stick side of Smith. Recovered by Pat Flatley. With help from Lachlan, they managed to get it to Brent Sutter, and he shot it in high off the glass. Gilbert went in after it. Checked by Lachlan. Flatley steps into Lachlan, and the puck went loose. Emil Bloomquist works at the center ice for Carpenter. Out and off the boards into the Islanders zone. Going back toward his Lane. Ward Lane takes a hit as he moves it to the right wing for Brent Sutter. Sutter's pass off Gilbert's stick and into the Washington end. Anderson picks it up back to the net. Stevens flatly stepped into Anderson after he made the play. Long pass to Gartner into the Islanders zone. Mike Gartner turns, drops it back to Stevens. He was bumped. Managed to keep it in play, however, with the pass to Christian. Now it's knocked out of the air by Persson. Captain Persson gets tripped up. Flatley with the puck. The pass to Kaller. He's across the line on right wing. Anders Kaller makes the play. Here's Paul Boudelier with a shot. That one off the stick and up into the seat. 4 minutes gone in the second period.
Good defensive move by Anderson as he deflected the shot. Brian Trottier was left all alone in front of Al Jensen, and the shot by whoever stepped off the Islanders bench deflected by Anderson. Had there been any rebound, Brian Trottier left all alone unprotected in front of the net.
Eddie, the Islanders have asked me to remind season ticket holders, not to remind them, to tell them that they have extended the deadline for picking up tickets for the semifinal and final round. Now, the season ticket holders had until today. It has been extended. The box office will accommodate Islanders season ticket holders from noon to 5 p.m. tomorrow. Your last chance to pick up your playoff tickets for the next 2 rounds. And then they will go on sale to the general public on Saturday morning here at the Nassau Coliseum. If other tickets are not picked up, the season ticket holders will go on sale. Kaller backhands it around the boards in the Washington zone. Bossy in after it. Checked by Bloomquist, and Langway and Bossy collided. Kaller was there as well. And Jarvis takes over at center ice. Into the Islanders zone. His pass is deflected right to Trottier. Plays it up right wing. Bossy chases it, but Langway was back. Center, Kaller got it away from Jarvis, was checked and turned by Sampson. Sampson's shot misses on the stick side. Lundqvist off the right point, lets it go, and that drifted wide of the net. Bossy chases it, can't catch up in time, and Rod Langway hustles after the puck. Langway dropped it back to Blomqvist. Blomqvist to Sampson, out of Jarvis. Jarvis dumps it into the corner to the left of Bill Smith, and Boudelier is there. Persson. Out to Dwayne Sutter, relayed it at center, but it was cut off by Stevens. Just dumped it over the line, and Boudelier clears it up. Picked up by Gillies, back to Persson. Persson up left wing, Clark Gillies at the Islander line. Makes the play, tried to get it back to Boudelier, but it was intercepted and is called on an offside. We still have 14 minutes, 48 seconds to play in the second period with a break in the action. Caps lead the Islanders 2-1.
It gives him 140 points in his career Stanley Cup play, passing Jacques Lemaire, coach of the Montreal Canadiens, for 5th place on the all-time scoring list.
What a career. Here are the Caps trying to put the puck out in front of the Islander net. Lachlan holding on to it, turns. Plays it back to Stevens at the left point. His shot went way wide of the net, comes over to the left side, and is picked up by Clark Gillies. Gillies, Wayne Sutter, and Goring across the line. Gillies tripped up from behind, but offside was the call to begin with.
On that same play, Jakes, Mike Bossy got an assist. That gives him 130 points, just 10 behind Brian Trottier. He passed both Bobby Hull and Henri Richard for 9th place on the all-time scoring list. A lot of great National Hockey League players of the past falling behind Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy.
Yeah, some of the great names. Some of them now members of the Hockey Hall of Fame are seeing their career totals surpassed. You have to think, too, there are more series now, but that has nothing to do with it. You still have to put the puck in the net to get the goal, and somebody has to help you with the assist.
And you've got to make the playoff.
That's right. Flatley with the puck. Shot it through the Washington line where it hit Murphy. Flatley is out with Greg Gilbert and Brent Sutter for the New York Islanders. The puck went loose. Gilbert picked it up in front to Brent Sutter. Missed Flatley with the return feed. Now Flatley dumps it to the corner for Gilbert. Tapped it around Murphy. Flatley comes in for it. That's Flatley moved it off the boards, but it went right to Christian. Murphy at the blue line is picked up by Gustafson. And Gustafson tries the right side. There's Gartner moving in and fired it way wide of the net. Off the boards for Flatley. Move on 2-on-2. Now Boudelier moves up, so does Christian. It's 3-on-3 as they get to the line, and Boudelier is shoved in offside. 13 minutes, 37 seconds left in the period.
Take a look at the SportsChannel out-of-town scores. Some important ones. Oh, all of them are important. Montreal in the second period, leading Quebec 1-0. Minnesota 2, St. Louis 0. First period score.
See where the Minnesota North Stars have lost Tom McCarthy for the balance of the playoffs with a vertebrae injury. Oh, Nystrom and Stevens collided. Nystrom actually got more of the glass than he did of Stevens, and the puck is knocked loose at center ice. Over came Deneen to clear it for LaFontaine. He steps over the line. LaFontaine to Helene. His shot went wide. Picked off by Duchesne on the left wing. Kane across to Francis Getty at center ice. Checked by Thomas Johnson. Helene takes a run at Bloomquist, and the puck ends up in the Islanders' zone. Kane got tripped as he went after it. Deneen to Nystrom. Head to Pat LaFontaine. He comes over center ice, trying to get him around Stevens. His double team, but knocked down, and there'll be a penalty against the Washington Capitals. Pat Stevens looks upset as Kerry Fraser is calling a hooking penalty. In the meantime, some pushing going on behind the Washington goal. Francis Getty with the stick up. He and Helene in there together. The Caps have one penalty coming. Islanders go to the power play. There's a break in the action with the score. The Capitals 2 and the Islanders 1.
Well, he got around and in behind Scott Stevens. Stevens gets a penalty for hooking at 7:09.
On the power play, Al Arbor has Trottier between Bossy and Kaller with Persson and Janssen at the points, and Janssen was just checked by Duchesne. Covered the puck, gave it back to Persson, now to Janssen. Janssen carries it back to the net. Jarvis was in to forecheck. He peels off. The pass goes to Trottier, to Bossy. Tried to get it back to Trottier, but the ruling it originated inside the Islanders zone and picked up on the Washington side of center ice, and thus was offside.
Should a Game 7 be necessary between the Islanders and the Capitals, SportsChannel will present the final and decisive game of the Patrick Division Final Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Seventh games. Are they something? Like fifth games. Who could ever forget? Just seems like a day or two ago, the fifth game between the Rangers and the Islanders.
Yeah, it's only, 7 days, 8 days ago. Here the Islanders and the Caps playing the fifth game of this series with the puck loose at the Islander line. Picked up by Duchesne to Jarvis. Lets the shot go. Smith made the save and is down. Late reaction, or has he been hurt? The Islanders, in the meantime, into the Washington end. Here's Bossy with the puck. Back it went to Janssen, off his stick to Kaller. Worked it behind the net where Murphy picks it up. Murphy around the boards, right to Janssen. Janssen had to work it toward the net. It was knocked down. Langway failed to clear it out. Trottier picks it up into the corner to Bossy. Bossy unable to get it to Kaller, and it's cleared over the glass and into the seats.
Washington Capitals, Jags, have possession of the puck. Langway, and he threw it away. The Islanders took it right back. But finally, Murphy, Murphy and Langway having a lot of problems holding on and controlling the puck without any Islanders on them. Little jumping. Rod Langway. You know, we talked about ice time, Jigs, with somebody like Langway as you look at the ever-cool Al Arbor behind the Islander bench. He gets more hard ice time than anybody I've ever seen. Now, they talked about Orr when he had his, 40 minutes. Not every game, but a lot of games with 40 minutes. Orr's ice time of 40 minutes wouldn't be as grueling as the ice time that Rod Langway puts in. He puts in so much ice time wrestling and fighting in front of the net, behind the net, along the board. That's the tiring part of hockey.
Good point. Flatley just gave it to Brent Sutter. Flatley. Puck went loose. Bloomquist fires it down the ice. Smith leaves it in front of the net. It'll be picked up by Boudelier. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty to Stevens. The Islanders trail the Caps. Down by a goal. Washington scored twice in the first period. The Islanders have the only second period goal to this point, and Boudelier sends Flatley over the line. That's Flatley back to Boudelier. Got it in around the boards to Brent Sutter to the blue line. Persson to Boudelier, back to Persson. Persson once more to Boudelier, into Flatley. Out of Boudelier. That's across to the right side to Persson. Over to Flatley, and his shot is kicked out by Jensen. The rebound is cleared by Sutter to Flatley. Back to the blue line to Boudelier. In along the boards to Flatley, and knocked it down. Dumps it to the corner for Brent Sutter. Aims at 6 aside. Flatley centers it out in front. Oh, and Gilbert found on it. It's on the doorstep. Flatley's backhander. He scores! Pat Flatley has tied up the game.
Hard work. It still pays off. There's a happy Pat Flatley. Jensen got turned around a couple of times like his defense in front of him. Langway's been out for the whole 2 minutes, well, almost 2 minutes. Let's take a look. Nobody in front of the net at this point. Not a soul. There's the play. There's the shot. It's miscued. Look at the loose puck. Look at Langway in front. Bloomquist. Neither one of them can clear it. Pat Flatley, using his strength and his balance, wraps in a backhand shot, and the score is tied. Greg Gilbert miscued on a shot. There's the loose puck. Look at Langway, look at Bloomquist, and look where Al Jensen is, way out of the net. It took him a long time to get back over to the other side, and before he did, the game was tied at 2 apiece.
Flatley with his 5th playoff goal at 9:16. It came just after Stevens had finished serving the hooking penalty. The game is even. We've got a whistle. Face-off coming in the Islander zone. Larry Fraser, the referee, making the call. The puck apparently knocked down. He indicated where the face-off will be. Now he's coming over to the penalty box, and he's giving the indication of a slashing penalty.
Pat LaFontaine goes to the penalty box, Jig. A penalty, slashing. Must have come behind the play. I did not see LaFontaine make contact with his stick, but the referee obviously has. LaFontaine goes to the penalty box, and the Washington Capitals, who have seen their lead of 2 goals now dwindle to none, tied at 2 apiece here. Flatley scoring. Just after the penalty, the Scott Stevens had ended. Flatley scored. 7 seconds after the penalty was over, the puck went in the net.
The assist went to Brett Sutter and Greg Gilbert. That ripped right there on target. Smith, a good save. As the Caps now with the power play. LaFontaine setting out a slashing penalty. Let's take another look at it, Eddie.
Hard shot by Scott Stevens, Jigs. Right here, you got to keep the puck down, though. Billy Smith, he'll catch those all day long. Had that puck been down, that was a good hard shot, but it's wasted up that high.
The Islanders get the draw. Morrow plays it around to Goring, and he slaps it off the boards. It's cleared down the ice by Trottier. Took a vicious hit from Stevens. Taken up, goes to the Islander bench, and replaced by Caller. Trottier. Stevens into the Islander zone, holding on to the puck as he went to the left wing board. Centered it just wide of the net. That's Anderson over on the right side. And Lachlan didn't tip it out in front of the Islander goal, and it's cleared by Morrow. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in LaFontaine's penalty. Benson waits back to the net. He had trouble handling it. Caller knocked him off the puck, but it went to Carpenter. And he scored! Anders Caller has scored! It has stole the puck away from the Washington Capitals with a shorthanded goal and lead 3-2.
What a play by Caller. What a play by Butch Goring. And Al Jensen got caught sleeping. He's been having trouble since he got hurt earlier in the period. Right here, he didn't move the puck. Caller forced a mistake. Look at the mistake by Carpenter. Caller took it away from him and put it in the net. I'd dance after a play like that myself. Good move by Anders Caller as he forced the mistake on Jensen, took the puck away from Carpenter, and his second playoff goal, a short-handed one, has given Washington a 3-2 lead. What a beautiful move by Caller. The fans love it.
The point you made about Jensen not being as sharp since he was injured, at least he appeared to us to have been injured. He satisfied the trainer of the Caps that he was not, but he has not been quite as sharp in his handling of the puck. Whether it's shot at him or behind the net where he's gone out to play it. Caller, short-handed goal. Here's Christian with a shot. That missed on the stick side of Smith. There to the corner. Gardner lost it on the boards, and Brent Sutter has dumped it down the ice. Still 45 seconds remaining in LaFontaine's penalty time. The Islanders, who had trailed 2-0, are leading now by a score of 3-2. Murphy to Christian on the left side, cuts to the right at center ice. The pass to Gustafson. Can't get through the defense, and Goring is cleared at the center. He races after it. It's away from Langway, trying to get in around Murphy. Checked by Murphy at the last second. Murphy is bumped on the boards. Gilbert knocks the puck loose. It went to Gustafson of the Caps. Knocked it back to Christian. Christian comes over center ice. Into the Islander zone. Holding on to the puck. Trying to make the play. Across to the right point. There's Bloomquist with a shot that missed the net. 5 seconds left in the power play. Christian in deep. Head the point, and there was nobody there. Bloomquist comes back, and LaFontaine steps out of the penalty box. Nemo Bloomquist gave it to Shand. Up the left side. Eriksson takes the turn. Comes over center ice with it. Carries the puck into the Islander zone. Then centered one just out of the reach of Jarvis, and Gillies worked it back to the net. Smith poking at it. It goes loose. Morrow and Jarvis collide. Trache comes in. Lets Morrow handle it, and he's been knocked down on top of the puck with just over 8 minutes to play in period 2. There's a break in the action. The Islanders are leading the Capitals 3-2.
Drives for the net, puts the head down the shoulder. Look at the move here by Murphy. What a check by Murphy. Goring jumps the stick. The puck goes in behind the net. Good move by Murphy as Butch Goring tried to open up a lane right to the net.
We talked about him tonight in the pregame show, Murphy, that is. He has come up with a better game thus far for the Caps. They are trailing at this point, 3-2. Stevens worked the puck with Sampson. Knocked away by Deneen on the Islander defense. Bloomquist gets rattled by a check from Gillies, and here's Bossy shooting it back in over the line. Bloomquist clears it into center ice, where it's picked up by Deneen. There's Gillies with the pass on the left side. The puck loose back to the net. Bloomquist touches up. The Islanders are called for having iced the puck.
No question that the Washington Capitals are rattled at this point, Jiggs. You can see kind of mistakes after mistakes now as they run into more trouble. The Mets host Andre Dawson, Gary Carter, and the rest of the Montreal Expos tomorrow afternoon starting at 1:30 with a replay at 8 o'clock on SportsChannel, the home of the home teams. How about the Mets today? How about my baseball team? Did they set them up? Opening day, they let them win 10-0. They came roaring back today in the bottom of the ninth. Bases loaded, 2 out and 2 strikes, and Backman bangs one down into the left field corner.
I know what you mean. Ryan Trache really upset with Swede Knox about the fact that he did not drop the puck, and Knox is calling an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Trache. Swede Knox holding on to the puck. Trache tapped the ice and dropped the puck. Knox did not. He lifted the hands, gave it the tee, and they get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Brian Trache, called by the linesman. There's a break in the action as the Caps get ready for a power play. We'll be back following this message.
Trache venting some displeasure with Swede Knox. You see him banging his stick on the ice, yelling at Knox. There's the signal. It looks like a timeout signal. What it really is, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty to Brian Trache.
It's called at 12:23. The Caps on a power play here in the second period. Back to the net. Anderson trying to put it out in front. Did, but it was picked off by Goring. Over center ice. Into the Washington zone. Can't get through the defense. Got bumped, and the puck went to Carpenter. Left side to Howard. Now to Carpenter. He's into the Islander zone. Lost it to Brent Sutter. Sutter flipped it up into the air. Knocked down at center by Anderson. Anderson and Stevens on defense. Lachlan, Carpenter, and Howard on the Washington forward. Stevens playing it back and forth with Anderson down to the right wing at center ice. Lachlan to the left wing for Howard, trying to come in around Morrow. Fed the blue line. Stevens holds it in. That's Stevens, checked by Brent Sutter. Stevens able to recover the puck. Now it's checked by Keller. And Anderson takes over. Give it to Carpenter. Knocked away from him by Brent Sutter, and Thomas Johnson flips it high in the air out into the center ice zone, but into the Washington players' bench. So they'll face off in the Islander end with 58 seconds left in Trache's unsportsmanlike conduct call.
Play like that, Jiggs, has to be developed during the game. I'm sure that what Brian Trache, depending on what he said, possibly throughout the game now, he's been thrown out of a couple of face-offs, and maybe by the same linesman. It's easy to get upset with him. You're wanting him to drop the puck. He's not ready to drop it. He doesn't feel that both players are in the right position to drop the puck, so he holds it. Brian Trache then, of course, loses his timing, and he goes in another time and tries it. The linesman, doesn't drop it again, and that's irritating. So he vented the anger, and that's probably something that's built up throughout the hockey game so far, and Swede Knox signaled him to the penalty box with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
You do not like to be shown up. It's like the catcher complaining to the home plate umpire. You don't turn around and talk to him. You just keep talking away, facing your pitcher.
You can talk, but don't gesture. Good point.
Langway with a shot. Grabbed by Smith, but he holds on. He saw him come right out to run into Christian. That's done on purpose, too.
Good reason to hang on the puck, but Langway again, Jakes, does not have the shot when he has to hurry it. Now watch where the shot goes, right upstairs. He had to hurry it, but if he keeps it down, coming out from the side of the net, Christian looking for a rebound. There's never going to be a rebound with a shot up there. Washington again guilty of getting the puck up too high, and Billy Smith picking them off.
Scoring on this face-off. Ian Jarvis, the puck was dropped, but unfairly, they'll do it again to the left of Bill Smith. Let me just repeat what I said earlier for the benefit of Islanders season ticket holders who have not picked up their tickets for the next 2 rounds of the playoffs. You have from noon until 5 o'clock tomorrow. The deadline has been extended. The box office here at the Coliseum will accommodate season ticket holders from noon till 5 tomorrow to pick up their tickets for the next 2 rounds of the playoffs. Islanders leading the series 3 games to 1. We're not calling for the elimination of Washington tonight. It's just that these tickets must be picked up well in advance before they can go on sale to the public, which would come on Saturday. Now Murphy into the Islanders zone. Pearson over to knock the puck away from him. 6 seconds left in the penalty to Brian Trottier, and Langway has to go back. Langway with Gartner coming in to help out. Pass up to Gartner. The Islanders killed off the penalty to Trottier, and Gartner with the puck into the Islanders zone. Worked it to the right side. Gustafson trying to cut in. Goes back of the net. Holds on to the puck. Gave it to Langway at the blue line. He shoots, and Trottier kicked out his side. Caller unable to move it out on the first effort. Now knocks it away from Gustafson, and Langway covers up at center ice. Langway almost put it on the stick of Caller. Duchesne with it. Danced his way over the line, but was offside, and there's no further play. You're watching the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Only shot on that power play. Poor effort by Washington. Good penalty killing, of course, by the Islanders. A penalty in action here.
Yeah, the Caps back to the play. Committed a faux pas once they touch the puck or give up a goal here. There'll be a penalty, and Helene was just hammered to the ice by Francis Getty. Referee Harry Fraser called the original penalty, and let's see what he's going to do here. He's got Francis Getty ticketed. Helene is really dazed. He was up on his skates and then fell down again, and trainer Ron Waske is out to attend to him. And a vicious hit.
What a heart. Look at Helene. He wants to get up. He wants to go get him. He can hardly stand on his feet. He's half out of it. But look at the heart. Look at the determination. Ronnie Waske trying to cool him down. Actually, look at his eyes. He's trying to get him to go back down on his knees just to relax. I'll tell you one thing that's hard on you, pulling on the sweater like that. Ron Waske doesn't mean anything by it. He's just trying to steady him down. He's trying to get him to regain his senses before he does anything. What a tremendous blow by Francis Getty on Mats Helene. Helene was leaning forward, it appeared. Francis Getty caught him with his head down and leaning forward. Threw a tremendous blow at him.
He's got Francis Getty for 2 penalties. He had one on him to begin with. That's what I was waiting to see. He is called a double minor on Lou Francis Getty.
There's the play as Dineen passed it. Right here. Oh, it's elbowing. Oh, vicious elbow. That's no question. He should be in the penalty box. He's did 4 minutes. This is where the Islanders can blow it open. Mistakes by the Washington Capitals. The kind of mistakes that are very costly. And Francis Getty, who's trying to win a permanent place on the Washington Capitals list of players, has just leveled Mats Helene with a tremendous elbow. He was ticketed for a penalty anyway, a cross-checking penalty, and now he's taken an elbowing penalty, so he gets 4 minutes. The Islanders will be on a power play.
Brian Trottier comes out with Mike Bossy and Anders Kaller. Thomas Johnson and Stefan Persson on the defense for the Islanders. Trottier to Kaller. The puck knocked away from him. Picked up and cleared by Stevens. Stevens and Shand on defense. Duchesne and Jarvis are the Washington forwards. Francis Getty off, 4 minutes. 2 for cross-checking, 2 for elbowing. The pass went to Bossy on left wing. Checked at center ice, got it to Trottier. He's over the line with a pass to Kaller. Anders Kaller holds on to it. Over to Johnson on the far side. Back to Persson. Couldn't make the play for Bossy. Now Trottier to Johnson. Right at the point into Bossy. Knocks it back to the net. Stevens and Kaller go after it. Stevens got it to Shand. He's checked by Keller. Played it back into Keller rather than Bossy. Keller picks it up. Comes to the side of the net over to Trottier. He couldn't backhand it in. Plays it to the blue line for Janssen. Persson's drive blocked by Stevens, and the puck comes outside the line. It'll be recovered by Thomas Janssen. Janssen to Keller on this right side. Sends Trottier over the line with Flatley. Flatley on the backhand. He can't get the shot away. Check from behind at the last second. Now he puts it out in front. Here to side by Jensen. It's under Duchesne, and there's no further play. Islanders complaining about a delay of the game call, but they won't get one. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the penalties to Francis Getty.
Good move by Brian Trottier. What a backhand play. Look at here. Trottier in perfect balance. There's the backhand pass onto the stick of Flatley. He's on his backhand also as he tried to get the shot away. Duchesne, 14. Put the check on him here. Flatley trying to get the puck out in front of the net as Duchesne lays on the ice covering the puck.
Flatley showing some strength. He has a goal here again tonight. That's his 5th playoff goal. He is strong along the boards, in the corners, and as so many of his teammates have said in the print media, that's where you win playoff games. Washington taking a little time lining up in the face-off. It'll be Curry against LaFontaine. Gilbert is on right wing. Flatley is on left wing. Boudelier and Deneen at the points for the Islanders. Fontaine on the draw, was tipped back to the point for Boudelier to Deneen. Let's it go. Jensen, the glove save, and he holds on as LaFontaine, and Langway collided at the side of the net.
Hard shot from the point position by Deneen, replacing Dennis Potvin in the hockey game. Here's the shot by Deneen. A beauty. It's low. It's on the net. Jensen having to stretch well out to make the stop. He's got it. That's Pat LaFontaine in front of the net, looking for the rebound. Quite a contrast, Jigs, when you think about LaFontaine and Flatley, both of them coming to the team at the same time from the respective Olympic teams. In an open contest, a wide-open skating, LaFontaine, of course, shines much brighter. Here in this kind of hockey, Flatley on the other side comes through.
You've got one of each. What a steal.
Yes, that's the right way to do it. Cover all bases.
Deneen back in his own zone for the Islanders. 30 seconds left on the first minor penalty to Francis Getty. Greg Gilbert holding on to the puck. Gives it to Deneen. We have a little more than 3 minutes remaining in the second period. Boudelier into the center ice zone with a pass to Flatley. Across the line, poked it in around the defense. Jensen out of the net, failed to clear it. There's LaFontaine to Flatley. Flatley feeds the blue line. Persson in front to Flatley. Scores! Pat Flatley.
You would think after 4 straight games and almost 5 that the Washington Capitals would not use Larry Murphy to kill penalties. He and Langway all over the ice, and the Islanders take advantage. Their opportunity. There's the play. Stefan Persson, and Flatley has found the lower left-hand corner. It was he who started the play. There's the pass. Flatley, Stefan Persson right back. Give him goal. It's in the net. A 4-2 lead. 4 unanswered goals here in the second period. And the Islanders are opening up quite a lead.
And the key here is that they did this power play goal, or scored the power play goal, with still time remaining on the first Washington penalty to Francis Getty, and now they come right back with the second power play.
Exactly, it's true. First penalty. Had this goal been scored somewhere after the 2-minute mark, of course, Francis Getty would be out of the penalty box, but the Islanders continue with a 2-minute power play as of now.
Persson handling the puck with Boudelier. Bossy, Gillies, and Trottier move into center ice. Bossy shoots it in wide of Al Jensen. Gillies in after it. Bloomquist knocked it away from him and has cleared it down into the Islanders' zone. Flatley with 2. Keller and Trottier with the others for the Islanders here in period 2. They're up 4-2 over the Caps. Trottier drops it back in his own zone to Boudelier. Into the center ice area. The pass went off Bossy's skates. Persson trying to get it back to Bossy. Couldn't. Now moves up to center ice with it. Got it to Gillies on left wing. He dumped it in around Lundqvist. Trottier chasing it with Stevens. Trottier took a hit from Stevens. The puck went to Bossy. Now Trottier. Out in front. Gillies shoots on. Jensen came up with a key save there. The Caps cleared out down into the Islanders' zone. 1 minute remaining in the penalty to Francis Getty. And what a job by Jensen with Gillies parked right in front of it. Johnson sent Goring over the line. Goring shot it wide of Jensen. It came off the boards, cleared right back to Johnson into Bossy. He's checked by Duchesne, and the Islanders have to chase the puck. 40 seconds remaining. Francis Getty's penalty time. Johnson around to Paul Boudelier. Besson and LaFontaine got the assists on Flatley's power play goal, by the way. And now the Islanders move it up right wing. Kaller chasing it into the Washington zone. Hooked it, they went right to Langway, who works them back of the net. His pass up the right side is out of the reach of Gaetan Duchesne. Go to Kenny Morrow. Corner for Johnson. 10 seconds left in the power play as Johnson lost his balance. Trying to get away from Jarvis. Johnson feeds the center ice zone. Kaller. Wayne Sutter, he's over the blue line. Wayne Sutter trying to get in around David Chan. Sutter backhands it. Goring is too well covered in front of the net. Ames at 6's side. Duchesne checking his own end. Wayne Sutter and Carpenter butt together as Langway has cleared the puck for Shan. And trying to clear it out of an off Wayne Sutter. Picked up by Morrow. He had trouble with it. Francis Getty moves in and Morrow steered him wide of the net. Kenny Morrow and Francis Getty end up in a heap on the ice. The puck goes back to the Islander goal. Carpenter in to pick it up. Centered it out in front. Smith dives on the puck and there's no further play. We've got an elbowing penalty against Clark Gilly. 34 seconds remaining in the period. Gilly goes to the box.
Elbowing the call by Fraser, the referee. It was Haworth who tasted the elbow of Clark Gillies, just down and to the left of Billy Smith. Ken Morrow's down behind the net. Just to the right of your picture, you see Haworth going down heavily as Clark Gillies rode him high up onto the glass. But he draws an elbowing penalty for it. 4-2 here, 34 seconds remaining in the second period. Brache, Flatley, Kaller, and then Flatley again. All here in the second period. And a 2-0 lead by the Washington Capitals disappeared in a hurry.
Brache on the face-off with Carpenter. It's cleared back to the right point. Murphy picks it up. And it across to Christian into the corner. That's Gartner with it. Back to Christian from the blue line. A shot deflected. They score! Christian deflecting. The shot rather deflected by Carpenter. And it is 4-3 as the Caps get a power play goal.
Something they needed desperately, Jake. They needed something to bite into, something to think about in the dressing room, something possible. There's the shot by Christian. Good job by Carpenter. Look at Billy Smith. He didn't figure he could get it up that high. The only place he could put it was right in under the crossbar, the only spot available to take a puck, and that's exactly where it was tipped by Bobby Carpenter. Carpenter, good stick work. His second goal of the playoffs has brought the Washington Capitals now within one of the Islanders. A lot of scoring here in the second period. 5 goals.
Christian and Gartner get assists on Carpenter's goal as the Islanders moved in. Red Sutter's shot was blocked at the defense. Gilbert in after it in the corner. Touched it loose. Flatley had the stick knocked out of his hands, and Gustafson worked it to Stevens. They start out with 3 seconds left. Christian dumps it into the Islanders zone. Smith steers it aside as the horn sounds, ending a wild second period. The Islanders scored 4 unanswered goals, and the Caps come back with a power play goal. And we still have 20 minutes remaining in regulation time, but it's a close hockey game. The Islanders 4 and the Washington Capitals 3. We'll be back with a recap following these messages.
Back to live action.
At the start of the third period, right from the face-off, an injured Washington Capital player. 4 seconds, the puck was dropped.
Francis
Getty, yes.
Down on the ice. Suppose there's not a lot of sympathy from too many people because he was the guy that leveled Matt Saline. A conversation between the linesman and the referee. You know there's got to be a penalty. If the referee confronts the 2 linesmen, he may not have seen everything. He wants to know if the linesmen did. And if they did, what was it? And he'll assess the penalty accordingly. Francis Getty still down on the ice, being attended to. Let's go back and take a look at the 5th goal of the period, a power play goal by the Washington Capitals. Here's the shot by Christian, and standing just out in front of Billy Smith, Bobby Carpenter directs the puck into the top of the net. That made the score 4-3 where it stands right now. Power play goal. Clark Gillies was in the penalty box for elbowing at 19:26. and only 11 seconds after he went into the box, Washington scored. Now there's going to be a penalty to Clark Gillies right from the face-off. A 5-minute penalty. That's a deliberate attempt to injure, I would have to think. He went right after Francis Getty. A high-sticking penalty, it's called. 4 seconds into the third period, Gillies goes to the box for 5 minutes. Now, what happens here, if Washington score 1, 2, 3, 4, or a fistful of goals, Clark Gillies does not come back onto the ice until the first whistle. No, after the 5 minutes is up. Excuse me.
Major penalty, and the conversation, as you pointed out, the referee consulted with the two linesmen, Wayne Bonney and Swede Knox, and then issued this 5-minute major penalty. So the Capitals have an opportunity to get back into the game and into the series with Gillies sentenced for 5 minutes straight. Gillies very upset with the call. His reaction was slamming the door to the penalty box, number 1. Islanders up by a goal. Now a man short for 5 minutes, the Capitals. And Haworth out there with Gustafson and Lachlan. Carpenter and Lachlan, I should say. Starting out, Christian into the Islander zone. Got turned around by Morrow. Johnson stepped in front of Christian. Haworth comes in, trying to dig it off the boards. It was underneath Johnson long enough to get the whistle, and 21 seconds are gone, and the penalty to Clark Gillies.
The important thing here, Jakes, for the Washington Capitals, they can't wait until the 4.5-minute mark into the penalty to try and score the goal. Their best effort should come right now. They should try and get one in the first minute and a half of this penalty to Clark Gillies. If they don't, as this goes along, as this penalty winds down, the Islanders will get stronger. The incentive will be there. 5 minutes, a long time to kill, but the Islanders have the experience to do it.
From the draw, the puck cleared in front of the Islander net. Poked loose. Goring chases it to the left wing boards. Murphy beat him to it. Larry Murphy checked, and Johnson clears it, but not out. Murphy has it again. Lachlan unable to center as Morrow ties him up. Murphy comes in for the puck. Works it back to the net. Lachlan feeds it to the blue line. It came outside the line. Lineway knew it. He trapped it, put it back in. Whistle sounded immediately.
It's a poor pass by Haworth, Jakes, no question. He banked it off the boards, but instead of banking it off the boards 10 or 15 feet in front of Rod Lineway, it was right at the boards where he was standing. He hasn't got time to handle the puck. He has to be careful it doesn't jump over his stick and create a breakaway. Poor play by Haworth. Breaks up the power play attempt by Washington.
Brent Sutter will take the face-off against Christian. Pearson is on defense with Boudelier. Caller is the other forward for the Islanders. The puck loose for a moment at the blue line. Picked up by Pearson, and he lofts it down into the Washington zone. Jensen makes the stick save and leaves it for Gartner. Gartner, Gustafson, and Christian, the Washington forwards. Stevens is out on defense. Gartner carries the puck over center into the Islanders zone. Can't get through the defense. Goes to the corner with Pearson, and Gartner took a hard hit from Pearson. The puck clears not out. Stevens a shot. Smith the save, and Boudelier clears it to the corner. Stevens lets it go again. Smith blocks that. Shot around the boards by Erickson. Gustafson goes to the corner. Pulled it away from Paul Boudelier's check. Trying to come off the boards. Caller on one side, Boudelier on the other, and they jabbed it away from him. It's picked up by Christian. His centering attempt stolen, and Pearson clears it out. And Pearson was knocked down on a trip. Play goes on. Gartner without the helmet has the puck, however. Goring moves up on him, and he put it right on the stick of Gilbert, then slammed into Gilbert. Goring steals the puck. Comes in on goal with a drive, and it was deflected off the stick of Christian. Gartner comes out of the corner. Goring stepped in front of him. Gartner puts the arm around Goring, and there'll be a holding penalty. Goring's helmet came popping off, and you see Gartner without his helmet. He's headed for the penalty box. The score, the Islanders score. The Capitals 3. We'll be back in a moment.
Knocks him off the puck. Butch Goring alertly steps in and steals it. Here he comes down the right wing side. Christian got his stick in front of the puck, but watch what happens here. Gardner goes in, went to drop it back, then he mugged Goring. What a dumb play by Gardner, who is a smart hockey player. To pull a stunt like that ruins the power play advantage.
Now Johnson starts out. He and Deneen on the Islander defense. Trottier and Bossy the forwards. Johnson gets into the Washington zone. The pass to Trottier, and it slipped off his stick as he tried to cut in. Trottier knocked down by Murphy, put it out in front of the net, knocks it loose. Bossy is grabbed as he pursued the puck. Langway was right on top of him. Here's Bobby Carpenter trying to get away from the checking of Bossy. Carpenter to Langway, missed him with the pass to the left wing, and Gord Dineen comes over to center ice. Right to Bossy, turns. Bossy to LaFontaine. He cuts to the left into the Washington zone, drops it to Janssen. Janssen's drive, Jensen the save. The big rebound is picked up and cleared. Allworth able to get it to Langway. Turns in front of the net. Langway, trouble with it for a moment, recovered in time to get it up to Gustafson. He's into the Islanders zone, can't get through the defense. Murphy with the puck now. Missed Gustafson with the pass. Gustafson checked by Flatley, and he is dumped it into the center ice zone. LaFontaine picks it up on left wing. He's into the Washington territory. Dumps it into the corner for Flatley. Up to LaFontaine. He shoots the left one wide of the net as Stevens dropped in front of him. Laughlin now to Stevens. To the point, held in by Pearson. Lets the shot fly, and it was blocked. Gustafson went down. Pearson to LaFontaine. Pulls it around. Jensen shoots off the post. He thought it was in. The light is on. The organ is playing. The referee has called play. No mistake this time. LaFontaine has put it in a second time, but the light was on. Kerry Fraser is going back to consult with the goal judge.
I couldn't see it in the net, Jakes, but obviously the goal judge put the light on. No question he put it on. Fraser. Now again, talking with the linesman, it looked to me that it went off the goalpost. I couldn't see the puck in the net. But let's take a look at the replay, see what it tells us. Stefan Pearson, his second shot is a pass to LaFontaine. Look at as he stick handles and moves. He's got Jensen moving, then he goes to the backhand, pulls it back to the forehand, and then flips it across the net to the far goalpost. Watch it closely. There it is off the goalpost. If that hit in the net, I'm sure the puck wouldn't end up where it did. I would have to think that the puck, if it hit the mesh going that slow, it would have to stay down in. Are they going to go to look at the replay?
No, they've called the goal judge over from the boxer's booth behind the net all the way around to the entrance to the ice surface, and there the referee and the two linesmen are conferring with him.
The reason it's hard, it's Arthur Reichert that they're going to talk to, Jakes. It's hard with the noise for the referee to talk. No goal. A definite no goal. I like that. I like the way he did it. He talked to the guy behind the net. He talked to Arthur Reichert. He's going to ask him, did you put it on prematurely? Did you see the puck in the net? And obviously Arthur Reichert, maybe in excitement, had put it on. Once he puts it on, he can't take it off. The referee, good move. He went back and talked to him, a veteran of many, many, many years in the National Hockey League, Arthur Reichert. And obviously a very honest man. Look at the move by LaFontaine. As he threads the needle, pulls it back, there's the puck. It's off the goalpost clearly. If the puck is shot that soft, Jakes, and it goes in the net, it can't bounce out. It's got to bounce down. That's the reason it's not a goal. Good call by the referee, good call by Arthur Reichert. Proud of both of them. It's not an easy play to make, easy call to make, I should say, under the heat, the pressure, and with all the people bearing down on Arthur Reichert sitting in his cage, obviously could not converse with the referee.
32 seconds left in the penalty time against Gartner. 1 minute and 44 seconds left in the major penalty to Gillies, in case you've forgotten the situation that we're in at the moment. The Islanders thought they had taken a 5-3 lead. LaFontaine thought he had put the puck in the net. And now Washington is making a goaltending change as Pat Riggin has come out on the ice, and they'll get some time to warm up the new netminder.
For a couple of reasons, it's a good move by the coach, Brian Murray. One, it gives his team time to regroup. Two, the goaltender, Jensen, was having a lot of problems.
There's a break in the action. The Islanders are leading the Capitals 4-2.
Monitor that the people, of course, here in the building do not have. Everybody's turning around here asking us, did it really go in? And, of course, we're signaling that from the replay we've seen, good camera work by our crew here, it was definitely off the goalpost to the left of Jensen and not a goal. Pat Riggin now has replaced Al Jensen. I had a feeling, Jiggs, that this could possibly happen. I think Murray was waiting for the right opportunity, and no better one. When LaFontaine stick-handled, threaded the needle, toyed with, he looked like he had a yo-yo in his hands instead of a stick and a puck, and he just moved Al Jensen all over the place. Jensen went down, he held the puck, pulled it back, had all kinds of time, and a good opportunity to score. Let's take another look. Watch Pat LaFontaine here handle the puck. He is excellent at balance, at handling the puck. There's the shot. It's off the goalpost. There it is. It comes straight out. There's Pat Flatley. He says it's in. LaFontaine jumps in the air. And that's all a reaction, not to the puck in the net, but the red light being on. Now look at him. I can't believe it. Wait a minute. There's a question? Can't be. Yeah, it's a goal. I keep telling you. I raised my stick. There, now I put it in. It's for real. Good
By that time, the whistle had sounded, and a referee and linesman conversed originally. When they called the goal judge over, rather than have to speak through that plexiglass, they brought him over to the entranceway, where would be the area that the visiting team enters and leaves the ice from. And the rule was no goal. You see Pat Brigham getting ready to go to work. 24-year-old Pat Brigham comes into the game with a 2.24 goals against average. Gave up only 8 goals in playing in 4 games. He did not play a total of 4, played 214 minutes. 1 victory and 3 losses. Team still at 5 aside. Trottier got turned around by Murphy, and Christian dances his way into the center ice zone. The Islander line got slowed up by Boudelier. Trottier ran into him. Trottier there's the puck to Persson. Persson to Trottier right into the center ice zone. They move up 3-on-2. Trottier over the line. Makes the play to Boudelier on the left side. Back to Bossy. Bossy slips away from the check. Comes through in front of the drive. Off the post and up into the seats.
Good shot by Mike Bossy. Again, Brian Trottier leading the rush. What a check he laid on Christian down at his own end of the ice. Started the play right back. Bossy either rung it off the post or Riggin got his blocker in front of it. There's the drop pass. There's Bossy. Stopped quickly. Changed direction in front of Gustafsson. Avoided him. Pulled the puck out at the top of the circle and then let it fly. There's the shot coming. Riggin got a piece of that puck. What a drive by Bossy as he looked for the top right-hand corner. And Riggin knocked it away.
Now the Islanders are a man short. The penalty to Gartner has expired, and Washington continues with a power play with exactly 1 minute and 5 seconds in it. Murphy leads the rush. Gave it to Langway. Shoots it in from center ice. Comes off the boards. Johnson slapped it, but not out. Carpenter goes to center one. It was off Laughlin. Comes to the side of the net and poked to the corner by Smith. Gilbert gets crunched on the boards. The Capitals trying to fly it out. Gilbert gets knocked down with a high stick. The puck went underneath Johnson, and play has been called, and Gilbert has been shaken up. Trainer Ron Waske, and Johnson is rolling over on the ice. Assistant trainer Jim Pickard comes out to attend to him.
Thomas Johnson blocked the shot. He probably got it up a little higher than the waist high. It looked like it may have hit him around the shoulder area. He's wincing in pain, or right in the stomach. There's no protection in the area from the waist up until the shoulder pads start on the players. Let's take a look at the play. It was Haworth along the boards with Greg Gilbert. Actually, 2 Washington Capitals. Oh, there's the stick. That's an accidental. No way, that's a deliberate play. You can see him turn his head, lift it with his hand to his face. What happens there, a lot of times, Jigs, the players try to lift up the arms of the stick of the opposition. Gilbert was leaning forward, and he missed the stick. The stick came up, hit him right on the bridge of the nose. There's a shot, a quick, hard shot right here. There's Thomas Johnson as he goes down to block at sacrifice. Name of the game in the playoffs to win hockey games. Thomas Johnson paid the price. Kind of skating it off. No question it's hurt. A lot of times where that puck will hit is right at the bottom of your rib cage. There's no protection. It's just skin and bone, and it hurts. Let's take a look at the SportsChannel out-of-town scoreboard. Montreal leading Quebec now 4-0. It's a final score. Montreal has defeated Quebec 4-0. 3 games to 2 now in their series, and Calgary leads Edmonton in the first 1-0. Great hockey here this year in the playoffs. Every game meaning so much, and every game has been pretty close.
And a report in that Minnesota was leading St. Louis as well. That series tied 2 games each. 37 seconds remaining in the penalty with Mark Gillies, a major penalty. And the Caps start out of their own zone. Christian with the puck. Went to the right side to Laughlin. Red Sutter stepped in front of him, and Morrow cleared it out to center ice. Murphy back on the Washington defense, bothered by Caller. Put it across to Carpenter. Carpenter up by Brent Sutter. The puck went loose. Caps had trouble picking it up. It's loose again and shot in by Carpenter. Laughlin moves in on right wing. Greg Laughlin played it outside the line for Murphy. Gillies on his skates. 5 seconds left in his major penalty, and as Lachlan worked it over to Christian, had trouble picking it up. LaFontaine got it to Keller, but he couldn't get into the Washington zone, and Gillies is out of the penalty box. Now cheering the Islanders has killed off the major penalty. They got a little help with that Washington penalty to Gardner as well. Now Francis Getty moves in and lost the puck. LaFontaine feeds it to Flatley. Back to LaFontaine. He steps over the line with a slap shot that's grabbed by Riggin. Plays it around to the corner. LaFontaine and Flatley move in together. Flatley gets checked. LaFontaine with the puck. Trying to turn inside Bloomquist and couldn't get around the defenseman. Flatley digs it off the board. Pat Flatley across to Deneen, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Then he was knocked down by Stevens. The puck loose and was cleared out into the center ice zone. Chasing it is Thomas Johnson. Francis Getty moves in on him as Johnson plays it around to Flatley on right wing. Takes a hit, dumped it to center. LaFontaine moves up. Lundqvist went over to knock it away from him. Len Curry out for the Caps. Played it to the right side to Timo Blomqvist. Blomqvist over the center ice stripe, dumped it in wide to Smith. It's picked off the boards and cleared by Deneen. Away from Langway at center ice, and he has to hustle back for it. Just under 14 minutes remaining in the third period. Eriksson out at center. To Sampson, he's into the Islanders zone. Gary Sampson on the backhand, chased back to the net by Litton. Check, and Trache picks up the loose puck. Trache down right wing. Puts on some speed to get in around Langway. Put it off to the side of the net and off the stick of Riggin as well. Here's David Shan. Shan pulls it away from Bossy, comes over center ice, handles the puck well into the Islanders zone. Shan goes back to the net, Lane right on top of him. He was unable to center it. And Shan gets bumped in the corner, and there's no further play. They have 13 minutes and 13 seconds left in regulation time. There's a break in the action. The Islanders lead 4-3.
Gordy as Lane makes two good defensive moves on on-rushing Washington Capital players.
Neglected to mention tonight that the Islander Booster Club has their regular meeting tomorrow evening at the Weekly Hills Tavern on Post Avenue in Westbury. Larry Brooks, Public Relations Director of the New Jersey Devils, will be the guest speaker tomorrow night at 7:30. Stevens slips away from Dwayne Sutter's check at the Islander line. Poked it into the far corner. Trache went after it. Ryan Trache up to Goring as Dwayne Sutter moving with him on right wing. They're across the line together. Goring trying to get around Stevens. Does. Shoots and that one high and wide. Little air off the left point. Into the corner for Dwayne Sutter. Let it go back to the net for Carpenter. Shoots it to the left wing. Held in by Pearson. No, it came outside the line before he could recover. Now to Dwayne Sutter. Backhanded it to the blue line. Murphy knocked it down. Got it up to Carpenter. He's into the Islanders zone. So was Haworth, and that put the Capitals offside.
Jake, let's go to Minnesota. See what's happening at the Met Center in Bloomington, Minnesota. It's in the second period, and Minnesota's on a power play. There's a shot from the point. It's in the net. Acton has scored the goal. Payne, Giles, and Payne assisting. There's the shot by Giles, tipped in by Acton at 15:27 of the second period. A power play goal has made it 3-0, Minnesota.
That series tied 2 games each going to tonight's game at Minnesota. Montreal, as you learned earlier, went into Quebec and won 4-0 tonight. Flatley just gave the puck to Morrow. He shot it right on target. Riggin steered it aside. It comes up the near boards. Picked off by Flatley. Pat Flatley backs it to Gilbert. Back to the net. Up to Flatley. And it was just out of his reach. Pat Flatley draws a crowd as he works it to the corner. Red Sutter moved in. Gilbert went back to the net, running into Langway. And the Caps are able to clear it around the right wing for Mike Gartner. Gartner, long pass picked out of the air by Brent Sutter. Shoots it off the glass. It hops, skips, and jumps its way back to the Washington goal where Langway picks it up. Islanders in the middle of the player change. Langway comes to center ice. Carries it into the Islanders zone. Trying to come right in on goal, and he was checked by Johnson. Langway centers it just under the reach of Christian, and up comes Mike Bossy. He and Caller move in 2-on-2. Trache joins them now. The pass to Trache. A backhander. That was high. Comes back to the left point for Boudelier. Works it around behind the net. Trache waits. Gave it to Bossy. Comes out in front of the net. Head it to Pearson from the point. He shoots. Riggin the save. Bossy picks up the rebound. Riggin blocked that shot. And Gustafson takes over. Just dumps it down the ice. Kills off the Islanders' threat here. Gets the whistle on an icing call.
Some of the best consistent effort the Islanders have shown in a long time. The fans here loving it as they're on their feet. showing their appreciation of the hard work. The Islanders pinning the Washington Capitals back in their own end of the ice.
Good Islander fan, Annette Pancini, celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Annette. Anybody else who celebrates on the 18th of April.
Take a look at some of the action the Islanders provide here with constant pressure. Bossy, the backhand pass to the point. The shot from the point. Good stop by Riggin as he's well out of the net. Look at in behind him, but Brian Trottier parked right along the goal crease. No one near him as Gustafsson finally got a hold of the puck and shot it down the ice.
They face off to the left of the Washington goal. LaFontaine got it to Morrow. His shot. Riggin got it up high in the chest protector. And the puck has been cleared out to Francis Getty at center ice. He overled Duchesne. Morrow goes back. Puck loose. Francis Getty trying to center. Who's cleared but not out. Here's Stevens. Over to Murphy. Shoots that one off the stick and Smith poked it to the corner as he left his feet. LaFontaine just dumps it into center ice. It's going to go wide of the Washington goal. That's Stevens. Puts a stick on the puck, and there'll be an icing call here. Still 10 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the third period. You're watching the New York Islanders and the Washington Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Left to play, 10 minutes and 44 seconds. Washington know what's ahead for them. A lot of hard work, a lot of digging. Got to get one more in behind Billy Smith to gain a new life.
The Islanders are out shooting them 7-2. At this point of the third period, the puck comes out of the corner to the right of Smith and is recovered by Trottier. Goring over center ice into the Washington zone. Goring lets a shot go. Riggin grabs it up high and holds on. Dwayne Sutter headed for the net. Tangled up there with Sampson in his pursuit of the play. They're going to face off to the right of the goal. Montreal winning tonight. That means the series goes back to the Forum. The Canadiens with an opportunity to eliminate the Quebec Nordiques.
One of the things you always think about in a situation that Montreal are in, Jake, they threw in a goaltender that had not much success in the last part of the regular season, but's been outstanding in the playoffs. You just hope he doesn't wake up some morning and say, what am I doing here?
Well, it's happened so many times. There's some great stories about goaltenders. Ken Dryden in particular comes to mind immediately. Stepping into the breach in the playoffs and coming up big.
Don't remind me.
You too, huh? Here's Johnson with the puck at center ice. He's over the line with a slap shot. Off the stick of Bloomquist and just wide. Wayne Sutter gets checked on the far boards. Goring unable to get it away from Jarvis. Eriksson at center ice has trouble handling it. Recovers again on right wing. Johnson ties him up at the Islander line, and Morrow sends Wayne Sutter to center. Into the Washington zone. Out it to Brent Sutter. Out it around the boards. Into the far corner. Carpenter with the puck. Played it off Brent Sutter, and he recovers at center ice. Sutter back to Boudelier. Over the center ice stripe. Dumped it in. It hit Stevens on the back. He goes for the puck. Lost it in his skates. And Flatley one-handed it to Brent Sutter. His backhander. Oh, what a save by Riggin. Sutter back to Boudelier. Boudelier dumps it around the boards. It ends up in the far corner. Pearson in off the point. Kicked it to Brent Sutter. Sutter gets checked. Stevens taking him off the puck, and out comes Howard. Into the center ice zone. Howard across the Islander line, working on Boudelier. Centered it to the side of the net. Smith just puts the catching glove on it after making the save. Howard and Flatley collided, exchanged some words. We have 8 minutes and 59 seconds left here in period number 3. And I remind you again, season ticket holders in particular, that you must pick up your tickets for the next 2 rounds, no matter what happens tonight. Whatever the outcome, they must be picked up tomorrow. If you've not already done so, you've got an extension from noon till 5 here tomorrow.
What do you mean, season ticket holders? They're all out there watching the game, Jake. They're not listening to you and I. Here's the play at the other end of the ice. Look at the save here as Sutter comes out in front of the net. Good backhand shot. Good stop by Pat Riggin.
By the way, well, wait a minute here. Lachlan just drilled the puck wide of the net. Langway trying to keep it in. Got it to Christian. His centering attempt hit the side of the net. Here to the corner. Gustafsson went for it. Bossy beat him to it. Bossy around to Johnson. Johnson gave it to Bossy as he came down right wing into the Washington zone. Couldn't get the puck to Goring. Picks it up again. Fires. Riggin just missed that as it went high and wide. He had company in the goal crease in the person of Butch Goring. Trottier shoots it right back in again. Riggin will leave it for Murphy. Harry Murphy to Dave Christian. Christian from the 1980 U.S. Olympic team is pass intercepted by his old teammate Kenny Morrow. Got it to Bossy. Back to Johnson. Got it right at Lachlan, and it bounces wide of the Islander net. Johnson slaps it around to the right wing. Came off the boards and picked up by Goring. Puts Goring over center into the Washington zone, trying to get in around the defense. Stevens chases him. Now they go to the boards together. The Caps try to come out with a pass to Carpenter. Over to Haworth. Now to Lachlan into the Islander zone. He's knocked down by Pearson's check. Here's a drive. Good stop by Smith, but the play has been called. Referee Kerry Fraser calling a hand pass as the Caps unloaded in the Islander end.
Good call by the referee, Kerry Fraser again, Jigs. What an outstanding job the young referee has done here in this hockey game. He's kept control of the game, made the calls fair. Here's the play to Lachlan. He gets knocked down by Stefan Pearson. The puck hit his hand. He didn't shovel it. The puck hit his hand. Look at the save by Billy Smith. Look at the balance of Smith. See his left arm in the air? Like a tightrope walker, keeping his balance.
Now the puck cleared in the Islanders zone, and Jarvis tries a shot that goes off the glass, back of the net. Smith was out there with Gartner, but Pearson is able to clear it up the right wing. Dwayne Sutter checked at the blue line. And again, unable to clear it out. Gartner moves in. LaFontaine on top of him. They got it to Sampson, and he lost control of it. Boudelier backhands it to center. It bounces down into the Washington zone. We'll get an icing call as Shan goes back to pick up the puck. Now 7 minutes and 18 seconds left in regulation time.
You see Shan look up at the clock. You see how quick he raced back to get the icing. He knows how valuable the time is. He knows that the face-off is going to be back in the Islanders' end where they want it, but he doesn't want to waste valuable seconds taking his time to go back and touch the puck.
Watching the two teams that finished first and second in the Patrick Division. By the narrowest of margins, the Islanders finished first, the Capitals finished second. Caps eliminated the Flyers, who had finished third. The Islanders eliminated the Rangers, who had finished fourth in the division. And here they are, Game 5 of the division championship round. And Gilbert gets checked at center, running into Shan. Brent Sutter picked up the puck. It's over the line, couldn't feed Flatley on right wing. Erickson comes down the left side. Erickson shot off Morrow's stick. That ends up in the seats. We have 6 minutes and 58 seconds remaining in regulation time. A break in the action. The Islanders leading the Washington Capitals 4-3. Face-off just on the edge of the circle, actually just outside the circle. The point where the deflection took place, Trottier against Christian. Gilbert and Brent Sutter out there for the Islanders as well. They get control of the puck, and Brent Sutter clears it outside the line. Rod Langway, Washington captain, worked it to Gustafson. And Gustafson held on to it, dumped it in as Christian went chasing it. And got pulled up at the blue line, giving Morrow an opportunity to go back. Out of Flatley. Gave it to Brent Sutter. Gartner held it in on the first effort, then that was cleared, and it's picked up by Langway. Rod Langway to Murphy. Right between his skates. Now Murphy to the far side for Gustafson. He comes over the line. Morrow gets a piece of him. Flatley hauls him down. Caps with the puck, and then Christian got checked by Morrow. Morrow feeds it to Janssen on left wing. Thomas Janssen parks on the boards, trying to make the play in front to Brent Sutter. Gets turned around, backhander off the chest of Riggin, and he's grabbed it and held on.
Close call, poor coverage by Washington as the Islanders come across the line. Thomas Johnson held up, held the puck, held the puck, held the puck. Waiting for a teammate. He finally found one. Here's the backhand play. Thomas Johnson. Look at Washington as they try to stick check. Brent Sutter slammed the puck. It went off the face mask of the goaltender, Pat Riggin, and then he caught it, trapped it with his catching mitt.
One goal separating the Islanders and the Capitals here in Game 5. We have 6 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. The Islanders lead it 4-3. Fontaine on the face-off. Gillies to the left, Dwayne Sutter to the right. The puck went to Dwayne Sutter. Backhanded it around the boards. Gillies chases it. He gets chased to the corner by Anderson. They move along the boards. Haworth and LaFontaine tie up, and the puck came loose for Lachlan. Puts it in from center ice. Bounce to the right wing. Dwayne Sutter works it back to the net. Haworth was there, but overcame LaFontaine to knock it away from him. Up to Clark Gillies. Gillies pokes it into center. Pat Stevens chasing it. Dwayne Sutter yelling at him, and the puck comes back to Boudelier and off his stick. They recover in the Islander zone and clears it to center. Down into the Washington end. Icing is waved off as Stevens goes after it. Stevens to the left side. Pass to Carpenter. Got it into the Islander zone. Then the Caps go for a player change. Smith moves it up the left side to Caller. Anders Caller dumps it into center ice. Brought right back in over the line by Duchesne. Beats the right wing for Jarvis. Up to center one that was broken up by Boudelier, and it's underneath the young Islander defenseman. Pushing in the corner to the left of the net. Nothing serious develops. A break of the action does. 5 minutes and 12 seconds left in regulation time. You're watching the Islanders and the Capitals in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Now starts to become a factor for Washington.
They get the draw. Murphy shot blocked by Johnson, and the puck bounces into center ice. The Islanders cannot afford to lose faceoffs in their own end like that.
Keep coming! Keep coming!
Morrow comes back for it. Kenny Morrow takes a hard hit. The puck loose and cleared around the boards by Trottier. Murphy picks it up. Haller steps in front of him. Murphy recovers the puck. Murphy goes to the backhand. A war going on in front of the net. Gartner trying to center one. Duchesne put it out in front, and it's cleared by Caller, who came back. Langway off the boards. Up high. Smith the save, and he holds on.
Langway does well to get it on the net. The kind of a shot you cannot control. Langway, what balance? Bobby Orr was excellent at this play. Spin around. Look at the puck in perfect position. He got it up high, though. Billy Smith grabbed onto it and held it. Washington with pretty good pressure, Jigs. It's the kind of pressure they're going to need. They're going to have to swarm all around that net. Gardner paying the price with he and Kenny Morrow. Morrow wrestling him a couple of times to the ice as he tries to fight his way into the front of the net. Trying to get a loose puck, trying to create some confusion, trying to be a screen, trying to deflect one if he can.
Trottier will take the face off. Carpenter for Washington, and the puck went to the corner and is cleared by Persson. This is going to result in an icing call as Murphy goes back. We now have 4 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in regulation time. If you joined us late, let's reset the stage. It was 2-0 Washington at the end of the first period. At the end of the second period, the Islanders led by a score of 4-3. They were up 4-2, 4 unanswered goals. Then Carpenter late in the period got a power play goal. And here we are with 4 minutes and 31 seconds left in regulation time.
Al Arbor, Jigs, he's thinking about down the road, about another 2 or 3 minutes from now, just about what he wants to do. The team's been through it so many times. I'm sure it's automatic, but he wants to make sure that every player knows exactly what the assignments are from here to the end of the game.
Indeed, and the one piece of the puzzle that I failed to mention in this third period is that Washington had a 5-minute power play. Gillies went off for a high sticking at the 4-second mark in the call. Riggin holding on to the puck in a face-off in the Washington zone. But let me just go back. Gillies from that high-sticking call. Gartner took a roughing penalty in the middle of their 5-minute major, and that really seemed to stall the Washington attack. Gave the Islanders a chance to kill it off.
Bad penalty for Gardner to take, Jigs. His team with a 5-minute uninterrupted power play advantage, and he killed it. Mike Gardner.
And the Islanders thought they had put the puck in the net. It was disallowed at the 3:20 mark, and LaFontaine had a stick up in the air. That's when they changed goaltenders. Riggin came in to replace Jensen. The face-off is to the right. Riggin. Brent Sutter up with Flatley and Gilbert. Persson and Boudelier on defense. Murphy has the puck for the Caps. He and Stevens on the Washington defense. Laughlin is cruising around out of the center ice area. They couldn't get the puck to him on the first attempt. Now Murphy brings it out, gave it to Jarvis. Shoots it into the right of Bill Smith. Persson is over, flips it high in the air and hits Stevens right at the Islander bench and goes out of play.
In the 3 minutes of power play that the Washington Capitals did have, when Clark Gillies was in the box, 2 shots on net is all they could put together.
Here's the way the breakdown has gone. In the first period, the Islanders have outscored and been outshot. Outscored Washington 6-2. In the second periods, not including tonight, they'd outscored them 4-3. And in the third periods, have been outscored 5-4. But neither team has scored in this third period. We just have word in from Edmonton that Calgary has taken a 4-1 lead over the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Edmonton's supposed to be leading 4-1. Not so. Calgary, pretty tough team this year. They've improved greatly.
Stevens with the puck. 3.5 minutes to play. Overlet is bad. It's loose in the Islander zone. Icing has been waved off as Persson goes back, slaps it around the wing, away from Gillies, all the way into the Washington zone where Blomqvist will pick it up. Timo Blomqvist. Stevens fell all by himself over in the far corner, but the Caps have the puck. Here's Haworth over the line. It was poked away from him by Johnson, and Morrow slaps it off the boards. Langway picks it up. Pass to Haworth. Recovered in the Islander into the ice by Johnson. Steps out on the left side. Up it in over the Washington line. Langway being chased by Keller now. Langway had his pass go astray. Johnson picks it up at center. He's knocked down. Gartner on a bad penalty. They had no business to do this with 2:57 left. No need to come down hard on him, but it was an error, I think, on the part of Gartner, and he knows it.
Godless penalty, Jakes. The referee had no choice but to call it. He couldn't ignore it. Gardner has been such an outstanding player for the Washington Capitals. Twice in one period has taken the opportunity away. He lost his stick. He reached out, grabbed at Thomas Johnson and pulled him down. A bad move. Mike Gardner, under pressure, has not shown a heck of a lot. Movie, yes, you. Same guy that took a penalty when Bart Gillies had taken a 5-minute penalty against Francis Getty at the beginning of the period and killed the power play, has all but killed Washington's chances of getting back into this hockey game. 2:57 remaining. Brian Murray knows what's ahead now. Little or nothing.
They need a short-handed goal to get themselves something here with Gartner in for a holding. That would run to 19:03, barring an Islander goal, and an Islander goal in his power play would pretty much put it on reach of the Caps. Rajay's check. A hard one on Gustafson right at the penalty box. Persson picks up the puck in his own zone. Stefan Persson starting up. Right side to Mike Bossy. Over center ice into the Washington end. Bossy had trouble handling the puck, picks it up and fires it wide. And Pat Riggin. Langway leans into Trottier. Bossy trying to dig the puck off the boards. Did not do so, and we go to face-off with 1 minute and 21 seconds left in the Islander power play. The important thing here is that the face-off is in the Washington end of the ice.
Islanders on a power play, Jake. They have to control the puck. They do not want to be careless. But on the other side, they can't be too cautious. Washington are going to be looking. They're going to be looking for an opportunity. They're going to have to gamble. They're going to have to take some chances here. And the Islanders know it. They're going to be sitting, waiting for the opportunity. Whether they make it or Washington gives it to them, they should get one. Again, a good opportunity, I'm saying, not necessarily a goal. Riggin has done a fine job since taking over from Jensen.
Fontaine out with Flatley. Flatley comes out of the corner with the puck. Gave it to LaFontaine, cuts in, centers, and Gilbert couldn't pull the trigger. LaFontaine with it, reads the right point. Persson in around the boards. Stevens has it back of the Washington goal. Hammers it off the boards, right to Persson. Across it comes to Flatley. Pat Flatley works it to the right wing. Gilbert and Murphy fight for it. Flatley picks it up. Pat Flatley centers, and Jarvis came back to cut that off. Here's Persson. Over to LaFontaine, and he shot it wide. Flatley's drive through the goal mouth. Comes back to the point for Baudelaire. A long shot, tipped, they score! Gilbert deflects the shot. It's 5-3 for the Islanders.
They gambled and they lost, but they had to gamble. They had no choice. They were running around. They were doing it the wrong way. Scott Stevens out of position. Several of the Washington Capitals, the penalty killers, drove caution to the wind. That wasn't smart. There's the shot by Paul Baudelaire. Just touched by Greg Gilbert, and it's into the lower left-hand corner. Pat Riggin went guessing, and he guessed wrong. Gilbert gets his second goal of the playoffs. And the Islanders get a 2-goal lead. 1 minute and 43 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Mike Gardner had taken a very bad penalty. There's the shot. Look at how low it is. Gilbert deflected it between the legs of Pat Riggin. And it's a 2-goal lead with 1 minute and 43 seconds. amazing how a season that the Washington Capitals have fought back from 7 straight losses at the beginning of, chased the Islanders all the way down to first place and lost it to them. Now they bring it down to playoff hopes to 1 minute and 43 seconds, and they're down 2 goals.
Did you just see the youthful emotion of Pat Flatley grabbing and hugging the veteran Mike Bossy over at the Islander bench? There's Greg Gilbert, who just got the tip in. I think it's that youthful exuberance that has revved up some veterans, too, coming to this playoff. The injection of youth at the right time of the year when LaFontaine and...
Well, they carried, Jigs. They carried the team in a good part of the Ranger and early part of the Washington series. The veterans that started to take over. You could see it in the game in Washington, and definitely clear here tonight.
They have themselves a 5-3 lead. Still 1 minute and 37 seconds left. The Caps scored twice in short order on Monday night at the Cap Center. Langway has just cleared the puck down into the Islanders zone wide of Bill Smith. This will be icing as Morrow goes back. We're down to 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the face-off in the Washington zone.
A sinking feeling. It's hard to get yourself up when you're in the Washington Capitals position to try and get 2 goals against a team that you've only been able to get 3 against in most of the hockey game. But I'm sure most of the players will be giving it a good try, and in doing so, they're going to have to try and get Reagan out of the net. And of course, the Islanders, one of the best teams all year long, and in the playoffs, it's scoring into the empty net.
Christian came in to take the draw. Now he steps out. It'll be Gustafsson against Goring. The puck dropped. It was in the skates of Gustafsson, but dropped unfairly.
See what Al Arbor does, Jigs. He's got Bossy and Trache off the ice right now. He's resting them. He knows that in the last whole part of this minute, if he needs them, and the face-off is down in the Islanders' end, they'll be out there and they'll have a little freshness to them.
Gustafsson is waved from the face-off area. Over comes Christian. That's a good point, 18. That's his best face-off man. Getting a rest at the moment. The fans singing goodbye to the Washington Capitals as the Islanders are on the verge of eliminating the Caps from the Stanley Cup playoffs. So Stevens starts out with the puck. Reagan slowly starts for the bench and heads back as Gillies broke up the play. Christian, Gustafsson, Langway, 1 minute remaining in the third period. Goring intercepted the pass. Wayne Sutter gave it to Morrow. Reagan is still on the ice. Wayne Sutter shoots it into the Washington zone. Langway goes back for it. Langway slipped away from the check of Wayne Sutter. The fans with a standing ovation as Gustafsson comes over the line. An empty Washington goal. Gustafsson's shot was blocked. Goring couldn't clear it out. Here's Christian. Back to the point. Langway's shot. That went wide of the net and is cleared by Smith. Picked up by Wayne Sutter. Looks at the empty net. He elects to just dump it into the center right zone with half a minute to play. Here's Stevens. Hits it around the board. Smith cuts it off. It goes to Morrow. Morrow to the right side to Dwayne Sutter, tips it into the Washington zone. Stevens slaps it off the boards. Carpenter played it across. Mark Gillies with an empty net to shoot at. It was cleared aside by Stevens. Dwayne Sutter is knocked down by Carpenter in the Washington end as the fans count down the final 3 seconds now. Stevens has knocked it in. It's all over. The New York Islanders defeat the Capitals 5-3. They have won the best-of-7 Patrick Division title in 5 games. They eliminate the Capitals 4 games to 1. There is nothing easy about it. Again tonight, they're down 2-0, come back to take the lead in the second period. What turned out to be the winning goal was Pat Flatley's power play goal at 16:57 of the second period. Some of them head for the dressing room. Ford Lane refusing to shake hands with his whole team, but so did Bill Smith, which isn't unusual, but now the rest of them in the traditional handshake in the center ice area as the Capitals have been eliminated. A year ago, they were bounced in the opening round by the Islanders. This year, they eliminate Philadelphia in the opening round. 3 straight games, only to go down to the Islanders in 5 games. Final score tonight, the Islanders 5, the Capitals 3. The Islanders are headed for the semifinals. The conference championship will be against either the Montreal Canadiens or the Quebec Nordiques. And Tickets for the next 2 rounds, the semifinal and the final series, will go on sale to the public Saturday morning at 10:30 at the Nassau Coliseum. Season ticket holders who have not picked up their playoff, their last 2 rounds, will get their tickets tomorrow here at the Coliseum from noon till 5. As you see Greg Gilbert, one of the last Islanders, through the line, shaking hands. You saw Rod Langway. Now he and Brent Sutter talking it over. And Langway, there isn't a whole lot more we can say about him. He plays so much. Sometimes not so well, but he gets so much ice time for the Capitals. He is perhaps the premier defenseman in the entire National Hockey League.
A victim, Jags, of trying to do so much is always a man that puts himself in the position of making mistakes. I've often said, and I was told as a young player, show me someone that never makes a mistake, and I'll show you someone that doesn't do anything all night long.
Isn't that the truth? The Islanders have defeated the Washington Capitals 5-3 and have won the series 4-1. We'll be back with a recap right after these messages.
ICENET. Dynasties live here.